Welcome back, friends of the channel. This is DM Arethusa with Dice Never Lie. Just wanted to thank you all for tuning in today in one of these recap sessions that we publish for our players here at Dice Never Lie. I'd like to thank everybody who is watching these for recap purposes, as well as those who are just doing what they can to support the channel. Everything goes a long way to helping us make this content, and I really do appreciate anything that makes it easier for me to create more tabletop RPG content for everyone out there. I love to share this game with the world and with friends and with people who will one day become friends. So I just wanted to thank you for liking, subscribing, and checking us out week to week. This is one more of our kind of backlog campaign for Twin Star Marauders that kind of got lost in a little bit of business that I got into and trying to get these caught up before we play tomorrow. This is 2 of 3. So just want to thank you for checking it out, and I hope you enjoy yourself today. Thank you. Like, subscribe, continue to watch Dice Never Lie. As a recap to what went down last week, we pretty much kind of had you guys off on kind of a free form. What would you like to do? And you pretty much kind of stuck around, did like the normal things, taking care of the silken sail, going off gambling, and we eventually had Jinx encounter the Sisters of Dyra, some sisters, like a kind of non-militant order of clerics and paladins who take care of orphans within Tolis. And you made like a kind of, I think, a substantial donation to him. It was at least like 10 gold or something. But meeting up with one of the sisters there who recognized you from your years as a child, where they might have been a large influence in kind of taking care of you. And then we pretty much had you guys go down into the sewers, looking for that same kind of like rat nest. You guys would eventually kind of be ambushed by two more skilled fighters and kind of making it out of there narrowly, surviving like that battle and overtaking them. The two of you were captured and felled by some giant rats afterwards. When one of those like brain rats would kind of like come around at the last moment, as among some of the last kind of like moments of consciousness from your perception here. So we are going to pick up here with the two of them being captured, and we're gonna go into a rescue mission. The way I have this planned, what I was thinking is we were going to use that blessing that Jinx kind of gained by like her donation and what Sister Dyra Margaret kind of blessed him with. Among things, she's going to essentially notice that like something terrible happens to you. And she's going to be kind of like the link, the call to action in what we do today. I already have like the mission kind of set up for you guys. You're going to start kind of mid tracking after these two missing friends. So, what I want to put forward towards you all, and this will go for you as well, Justin, whether you want to play Dalton or Davros, is I'm curious what level you guys would like to be. I'm tempted to tell you to like each roll a D100 and we will take the average. If it's 24 or below, you guys can play at level 2. If it's 25 to 75, play at level 3. And if it's above 75, I'll let you guys play at level 4. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm curious what you guys want to do. Do you want to be higher levels going into this mission that I have set up? Do you want to play it randomly? Justin, do you want to play Dalton? But otherwise, we have theoretically Seraph, Wesley, and then whoever Justin plays, Davros or Dalton from the DeMarquis.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I like the idea of randomizing the play level. That definitely seems pretty cool. And yeah, I think it's a cool setup too, with the blessing and kind of like the rescue mission. So I'm good with everything so far.
Yeah, maybe I'll switch it up and play Dem today. Yeah, I find it kind of cool too with the rolling for levels. Seems like it could be fun.
Excellent. So theoretically, I told Chris and Justin, like, make level 1 characters, be ready to play level 4. But that's kind of what we'll go for here. If each of you can roll a D100 and let me know what you get. And again, theoretically, it's more than a 50% chance that you're playing level 3. But there's a slight chance that you play each of the other options too.
Yeah, I got a 12.
Not the strong start we need, Chris.
Oh, sorry, they changed the dice roller. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on.
Oh, I didn't even notice that until now. They're at the bottom now.
Chris, you got smoked. I hit you with the one up.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow, really even
That's
struggling. This is
that's
just
like the most douchey thing you could possibly do is just do one better than someone. It's like Price is Right.
so what is it? Justin has to roll over a 73 for you guys to not play level 2. Now I feel like my math is wrong there, but that looks like a level 3.
80. It looks like 105 divided by 3,
Yeah.
36
Thir-
plus.
Yeah, that sounds good. I was thinking
No,
35,
35
but
plus. Yeah, 35.
yeah.
Nope, that's right.
So if everybody can basically set yourselves as level 3 characters, you can take some time to make those decisions that you need to make. I don't assume anybody noticed that I came to a conclusion on how I think I want to do hit points moving forward. Every single day I do want to stick with every day you guys roll hit points. Like you roll all of your hit dice and you add your constitution to find out how many hit points you have. But I want your minimum to be the average rounded down. So if you have a D3 or a D6 hit die and you're level 3, you should have 9 plus your constitution modifier times 3. So like if you're a sorcerer with a level 3 plus 2 con, you've got 6 hit points from your con and you've got 9 hit points from your hit dice. But every single day, if you roll above the average of 9, you start with those extra hit points.
That's for like in-game days, not like playing sessions. So we could potentially have two separate ones in a single session.
The way this game has worked out, more often than not, every single day has been an in-game day. So yes and no, but yes. Theoretically, like this session is probably the second time we're gonna pick up from last week, and then we might have things start again, quote unquote, today. But this is kind of like where we picked up on the ship and we didn't have time pass, like even though in real life time passed. Um, One of the things I eventually want to get to is when I'm going to be on vacation next week. That's why I said like no games next week. Um, I am getting to the point where I just want to create my own homebrew world and start a campaign from there. I love this city, but I feel like this city has made it so it's impossible to run a West March. Nobody has come forward to me really with any ideas about what they want to do. And I think part of that is just that the city is too big. It's information paralysis. So I'm hoping to basically design at least the start of a small campaign. And I want it to be at very least kind of lead into what will be um, home location for a West March style campaign. Whether it ends up being like creating a campaign just for the three of you guys, in the long run, we'll just kind of see how that goes. But I feel like that's somewhere around where things are going to go here. Is um, it's just frustrating running a bunch of games off the cuff without anything in mind. Um, because I feel like that's part of like what happened last week, where just the random rolls, like randomly generating everything, is too much. So I think with the three of you, we'll be looking at Dalton, is a bard, Seraph is a cleric, and Wesley is a rogue. And we're going to have the three of you tackling today's adventure. And potentially having Key join us later at 4 o'clock.
So did you say a specific level then for us?
Oh yeah, level 3. Yep, you guys were firmly in the lower echelons of those rolls.
All right, so for rolling hit points for our character, like, do we still roll a base hit point for him, and then we just roll every day, or do we just roll every day and we don't have to worry about a base hit point?
What's your con modifier with Sarah?
I'm 12, so it should be what, +1?
+1? Yeah, so like you have a D8 for your hit die, or your 3 levels in cleric?
Yeah, all three are gonna go in cleric.
Yeah, so like your minimum hit points is 15. But every day you'll roll 3d8 and add those 3 points for the con. So you have 3d8 plus 3. If you roll below 15, you've got 15. If you roll above hit 15, you take those. So you're with Seraph right now. You'll have basically 15 to 27 hit points. And you'll never know.
Hang on. You're saying 15 to 27. So if I roll a 15, do I just straight up have 15 hit points plus my 3? Is that right?
Well, why I say 15 is your minimum is that's 12 from your hit dice. It's 4, 4, 4 plus 3. So if you rolled 15 on your dice and then added your con, you're going to have an 18.
Yeah, okay. And you're not doing like the reroll ones, any of that anymore. It's just straight up minimum you can get on the dice plus your con mod.
Yeah, removing the reroll, just making it straight like a single roll.
Okay, cool.
How's everybody doing on being like up to level 3?
Yeah, I'm done with Wesley. He has a total of 15 hit points right now and level 3 rogue.
What subclass did you go for?
Oh, I went swashbuckler.
Excellent. And Seraph, you went with light cleric before, or life cleric, right?
Yeah, life, yep.
And then did you choose a subclass for Dalton previously?
No, because when he was captured, he was level 2. So I'm going to go with College of Lore.
Excellent. But are you guys otherwise all set? Perhaps if the two of you are still like messing around with like spells, you're kind of welcome to that, but we'll kind of get into at least like the initial kind of like setup and roleplay, if that sounds good.
Yep, I'm all set with my spells. I'm just rebuilding Delton's inventory because I never actually deleted because he would have lost all the stuff when he got captured. But then I want to keep track because essentially Davros is going to give him some money to buy some like basic equipment again. So I'm just rebuilding that now. But I'm good to start.
I would say by and large as well, like it doesn't even necessarily have to be removed from Davros. The guild can re-equip him as well with basic equipment. I would say by and large, just like starting equipment, you can pretty much have for free.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So essentially, again, we're going to pick up kind of midway through this kind of like tracking them down. But kind of what's kind of happened or what has transgressed across this day already is effectively when the others went missing. You've had Sister Dyra Margaret of the Order of Dyra kind of come to the guild hall and effectively like approach. We'll just say like the three of you were there at that point to respond, and effectively, she's got this connection still between herself and Jinx, and recognizes like maybe that he was like knocked unconscious in like the throes of battle, and is being like somewhere beneath the city, kind of like moved through the city. um Initially recognizing that he was like in the Guildsman district, she would have basically recognized that he was taken through like Midtown, and eventually kind of came to rest in a lower central portion of the Temple district. See if I can kind of draw like just as like a first kind of idea. She kind of finds herself recognizing like this area of like the bridge between the Temple District and Midtown, and the Street of the Million Gods, and just kind of vaguely into that like central kind of temple area. And this is just a mass of temples. A lot of these are actually quite small temples in that area, where there's temples like built on temples. This is actually one of the few places that actually kind of like might recall some of your visions of like the Warrens, where things are built on top of each other for lack of space. Part of why it's a million gods is because this place has kind of that same feel at times. Are there big temples? Yes. Are there a lot of tiny temples that are just like a shrine? Yes, as well. But yeah, she basically tracks it over 147 is the blessed bridge there, and she kind of like comes to recognize like it's somewhere here, and that's when she felt like closest to him, but also recognized like she wasn't going to be able to go too much further herself, and basically has come to get you all. I'm gonna say that she goes through the process of let's see. Jinx, let me have you roll, or Seraph, let me have you roll a D100 for me. She will basically cast a spell for you guys here, and it's going to create a tiny little like illusory figure that Jinx alone can see, or Seraph alone can see. And it is basically going to be advantage on perception checks to follow this thing towards Jinx. And what this is going to basically be is just kind of like the classic like video game, like almost like can't remember Peter Pan. What's the fairy in Peter Pan?
Tinkerbell.
Yeah, like Tinkerbell, kind of like bouncing in front of you, and she's kind of like leading your way. And it's effectively like almost like a fairy version of Dyra Margaret. And she basically is using this ethereal form to guide you guys first back down the street of a million gods and back into this area. And then we're going to have you guys essentially from kind of like just like a central point. Can't even really ping it, but we'll just kind of like have this central point in that circle, where like Lacrosse Street and Street of a Million Gods kind of come together. We'll kind of like pick up with you guys there, and let me get a perception check with advantage from you, Seraph, as you basically stop and you try to see like in the bustle of people kind of moving through and past you. You're trying to see where the um the little like path of this creature has gone. And my apologies, that 53 was to see I'm going to give you all aid cast by her as well. So everybody can have 5 points to your maximum hit points.
I live my life on the extremes. So I got a natural 1 and a natural 20.
Gonna say for a second there, at least it gives you inspiration, but it doesn't because you have advantage. So you would have to have rolled another nat one. But the 20 is much better. Um, so you guys are going to track this little thing down a little further to the south, and you can just kind of see essentially these tiny little like blue, like ethereal footsteps that are just kind of like marking the street ahead of you. And you're kind of like dodging between people and kind of like trying not to get distracted as you get bumped and like somebody walks by until eventually like a little bit before the bridge, you're going to see like a small temple that she like walks through and into this back alley, and then past like this tiny little temple. You're in between a few other great temples that are around you, like rising high above head to the north of you. Two big temples rising up above you to the south of you, and you're in this like back alley, and this is 100% like a recollection of the Warrens, where in between these four big churches there's probably 10, 15, 20 different like little rooms or almost like outhouse sized buildings that are built on top of each other and into each other, and it is very much like trash like building materials being stacked on top of each other to make these little shrines, and you can just see as these tiny little footsteps like lead you into the tomb of the rat god. Not tomb, the temple of the rat god. And we at some point I like cleared my memory and I think I lost all of the characters. So I have Wesley. I don't believe I have Seraph anymore. Oh, they came back. They're working again. Huh. Um I might still have a Dalton. Let me see if I have Dalton, but can you send me Seraph on Discord again?
I can send you a Dalton as well if you need it.
No, I had him quick reference. Yeah, my Seraph is a female bard. Seraphim. But regardless, while you're grabbing that token for me, Justin, when you guys walk into this temple, the footsteps are going to kind of get a little bit more ethereal. You can't quite see where they're going to lead from here. Effectively, you guys are standing inside of this, like, what is it, like 60 by 25 or 30-foot wide temple that kind of like leads down and into the ground when you walk into like this almost like outhouse kind of like very typical like a western style outhouse. It like leads down into the ground and you're on this like stone floor, all kind of like flagstone floor built up, and the walls are just covered in graffiti, and before you like you can see this massive stone rat that kind of stands up about 20 feet tall, and its arms are outstretched towards you, and its face is just like ravenously like staring forward towards you. And all around you on the wall, you can see this graffiti that just kind of like, "Hail to the god of filth, Lord, was it a lord of like trash and disease." All kinds of basically like graffiti is written on these walls, on these stone walls, to basically honor the rat god.
All right, I just sent over that token.
Gotcha. I'll have you on the board in a second. But what kind of thoughts do you all have as you basically walk into this temple of the rat god?
So Dalton is looking around, kind of looking at the graffiti at this massive rat statue, and kind of shakes his head and only I'm a live sort when it comes to worshiping, but this is a bit beyond the pale.
Any thoughts from Wesley or Seraph, as you guys walk into this temple of filth?
This place is disgusting indeed. Let us hope that we can find our missing friends and make it out safely. On I'll light my like shield. I'll cast light on like the front of my shield so it like glows in front of me.
I wouldn't wish captivity on anyone. I should know. But agreed. Let's find Jinx and get the heck out of here. This place gives me the creeps.
Wesley will pipe up at that. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. This is a nasty place. So let's get the boys back and hopefully in one piece, and we can just forget about all this.
Indeed, we will stay together and face this Rat King. We will rescue our friends. And I guess we're all ready. I'll just start descending down the stairway, shield in hand, with the light.
No, that's the statue. There's no stairway in here.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad. I thought that was like a spiral staircase. I totally heard you say the statue and everything like that. Okay.
No,
So-
I was gonna find a good like top-down like view of a rat. And in like the book, they represent it just with a star because it's something of importance. And I was like, oh, that's actually a good idea to represent statues that I can't find pictures of.
Yeah, that's completely
Definitely
my bad.
meant to be just a placeholder there. But when you do come closer to the statue, you'll see that there's all kinds of like rotting food and trash and filth and things left at the feet of this rat. All of it in front of the rat. Nothing is left behind the rat.
Fresh offerings for the god of filth. Interesting. Can we see like can I sort of like examine the base of the statue and see if I see like footprints leading in a certain direction?
You can roll a perception check at advantage.
15.
From the base of the statue, not only can you see the like ethereal footprints almost walk into the statue, but you can actually see some of these areas where like somebody has stepped on like rotting fruit and there's like an evident like footprint that's like kind of walking forward to where all of these offerings are left. Something about this statue is an entryway. You just have to kind of find like what actuates it. And honestly, with that look, I'll basically say, it takes you a few minutes to kind of like figure out like what can you kind of like manipulate before you eventually find that like maybe like one of the toes on the rat is like on like on a lever. But it's still kind of like has that actuation where you can kind of manipulate it, and you basically recognize like moving this little thing, just kind of like pulling a book on a bookcase, kind of like, and you hear is it just kind of like, and the rat statue will slide backwards, and you will indeed find a staircase directly beneath it, but that was not what it was supposed to look like.
I see through your games.
In hindsight, I never once thought of that star as a circular staircase. It definitely makes sense that it looks like a circular staircase. It was poorly planned.
Well, you 100% described a rat statue, and then I like heard all that, and then for some reason that just looked like a staircase to me, so I just assumed it was. So that's funny.
So there was little bits of light coming in from the street above you all, where you walked in there. As you come down into this place, though, there's going to be no more evident light. The light is going to kind of fail at this point, and you'll be walking into darkness. So right now, Seraph has light coming from their shield, and you can see down the staircase into kind of like a room below you, maybe like another like 20 or 30 feet down into the ground and about 20 or 30 feet ahead. But that's kind of where the light is going to fail. Does Davro or Dalton or uh, Wesley have any other source of light, or are you two gonna go using Seraph's light?
Yeah, Dalton is going to light up a torch as well, staying behind Seraph. But he's gonna, he'll pull out a torch and light one up.
Yeah, Wesley will like ignite his lantern, the hooded lantern, if it makes any difference.
Excellent. Trying to cut the fog, and it did not cut it. What did I do wrong there? Alrighty. So I don't really have like the stair kind of built on like the western side of this room, but basically like you're kind of coming in from like the west central portion of this room, and the stair is kind of going to drop you off like at the base of it. So as soon as you kind of come to this connection to this room in front of you, you'll see that there is an area that you can walk to the south, basically just the south of you. That's why I said you can walk to the south. But you can basically see like this room is again, it's got like a bunch of filth and like crap and things all around it. This dungeon is all going to be like this stone and is certainly a dedication to filth. The reek of this place is horrific. There's stagnant, stale, like moist, dank air here. It's a horrific place for breathing. All of the smells are an assault on your senses. There's probably points where like the urea from these rats makes your eyes tear up. This would be kind of a like shock getting into this location where the air no longer has even like a semblance of like that other like chapel was just below the surface. There was a sense of it got fresh air. When you get into this little square hallway here, you very quickly like, when has this place ever had fresh air? Um but oh wait, I do also have to place you guys. So coming through to explore that little room, seeing the hall to the south, your senses are assaulted from all around you. What is everyone thinking?
Yeah, so Dalton is basically trying not to retch. Is kind of this like even worse stench kind of comes up, and he's like kind of almost like trying to like pinch his nose with his free hand, and um, guys, I thought I'd smelt the worst this city had to offer, but clearly mistaken.
I don't know what I was expecting, but this is worse, no doubt. And I'll have like pulled my like headpiece like around my mouth to kind of like block the stench.
Yeah, you can see like Wesley he's not even gonna talk. He's just like holding a hand in front of his mouth. He's like trying not to get any stench in, unsuccessfully.
Should have brought some incense or nose plugs or something.
Do you have incense on you? You're a bard. You might have them.
No, he doesn't have any.
All right, I'll like dig around in my bag for a second, and then I'll pull out some incense, and we can light some up because I actually do have some. I'm not sure how much it will help, but it's worth a shot. And then I'll just start going down this hallway here.
oblige, Jinx, and Dalton will follow. He'll have his kind of reluctantly take away his free hand, draw his rapier, and then with a torch in his other hand as he follows.
So as you start down the hall, and you guys kind of get into your order here, Seraphim, Dalton, and Malchin is how we'll kind of progress forward. Sounds good?
Yeah, sounds good to
Oh,
me.
not Malcolm, my bad, Wesley. But as you kind of like move forward and you're kind of like holding behind your shield, you have Dalton behind you with another torch and his rapier drawn. Is everyone drawing their weapons kind of as you progress forward here?
Oh yeah, definitely. Wesley would have pulled out his rapier.
Yeah, I've got my shield and my mace too. I can do that because I have Warcaster, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. You can cast spells with the hand that is effectively holding your shield. Like you can still manipulate the somatic components. So while you move forward, and kind of like start to cast light down this hallway, you very quickly see like the first of these giant rats kind of like fleeing from the light emanating from your shield, and it kind of like moves just out of view, and you start to gain a sense of like more movement just ahead of where you are, that you guys are moving towards some creatures that are like in this darkness ahead.
Careful, I think I saw a Rouse.
Let me have the three of you roll a perception check here.
I've got 9 total.
I've got a 10 total.
And be a 9 for me as well. Or no, 6. Sorry.
Gotcha. So as you guys kind of push forward, you spot a few of these like rats kind of moving, and you start to gain a sense like there's rats just ahead of you in this room, and you start to see more and more of the room kind of giving way, to where you eventually are going to kind of like come to this entry, recognizing that there's a door to the west in this room, like just kind of southwest of where you are, and there's about 5 of these giant rats inside of this room. There's you don't necessarily see each and every one of these rats, but like the piles of trash that are around this room, you can see the movement in them. So where you can kind of make out these 5 different like areas where the trash is moving. And this is kind of like the trash compactor in A New Hope, where you can actually like see like refuse moving and sense where something is, not necessarily that you know that there is a creature there, but effectively as you guys kind of get to um about like this is where you kind of come in, and like you hear like the first of these rats kind of like poke its head out and almost like snarl at you, and I want you guys to roll initiative here.
It's be a 21 total for Dalton.
A 17 total for Wesley.
I also am in the 21 club.
So the two of you, we're actually going to start with you. But this is one of those things. Remember, like I have that extra options that you guys can take your turns at the same time, which means like one of you can move, the other can move. One of you can do this, the other of you can do this. So you can like modify things by working together. Consider messaging like on Discord between each other as an option, like to plan your turns. But like right now, do you have any thoughts on how you would basically like take these rats on in this moment while the two of you basically enter into this fray?
Well, I'll definitely keep moving through so I don't bottleneck anything.
The hallway is technically like 10 feet wide there. At least I think. Yeah, that hallway should be 10 feet wide.
Yeah, I don't think Dalton doesn't have any grand plans at this point, so he'll probably just say like I'm with you and follow after Jinx or Seraph. Sorry, probably I guess into the room here.
So I think as I'm coming forward, I'm gonna pop off a sacred flame at the closest rat before I'm like up on it.
Gotcha.
So that is 14 dex. Oh wait, I guess it doesn't really matter, but 14 dex.
I rolled a 13. I have a feeling it's going to. I just need to look at its stats real quick. Yeah, it's going to be a 15. So, save or suck on a sacred flame. You just basically see as this like beam of light just like comes down and like sizzles like into like a piece of shit, and it just like adds to this stench that's overwhelming your incense.
Okay, and then for my bonus action, I'm gonna do Shield of Faith on myself.
Gotcha. Anything from Dalton as you move forward?
Yeah, and Dalton is just stabbing out at this rat with his rapier. It'd be a 14 to hit, and if it hits, it would deal 11 damage.
Solid hit, and yeah, that's gonna basically impale it onto your rapier. That rat will die.
Jinx gonna just tell Dalton, well done, and keep moving forward into the center of the room.
Still got it. Dalton will probably look a little surprised that he landed such a good blow. And he'll probably actually kind of like take a moment to admire his handiwork, and then like kind of slide the rat off of the rapier, almost like take a piece of meat off a skewer. But otherwise, he is going to, for now, stay where he is.
All right, so the filth to the left of you, Seraph, is going to kind of like bulge and move until you see this like rat kind of leaping out towards you. I think that's a 16 for a total of a 20 to hit you. Is that overwhelming your AC even with Shield of Faith right now?
Yeah, 20 is enough to hit me.
And then it's going to do a total of 4 piercing damage to you. And can you make a Constitution saving throw? This is just versus disease. You'll actually make another Constitution saving throw at advantage to maintain. Is Shield of Faith concentration?
Ooh, yeah. So I have a 20 on the Constitution save, and it is concentration.
Gotcha. 20 on the Constitution save is going to prevent it from putting like its diseased fangs like into your actual flesh, where you get like um incur this illness. But you can see as this thing's like coated in filth as it bites into you, like the wound is like covered in filth, and it's just like a little bit of a reminder of like you're entering into like the temple of the rat god. And it's gonna go to old Wesley.
Wesley, seeing the others charge in, will follow a bit slowly after. Let's see. Yeah, he's gonna go for this rat. Yeah, let's see, attack. Oh, that's a crap roll. It's a total of 12 to hit.
12 is just enough that as the rat's kind of like ducking and weaving beneath and around this filth, that you do actually feel your rapier like pierce into its flesh. Roll for damage.
Oh, let's see. I am from Swashbuckler. I'm getting the sneak attack as well. Seeing
Indeed.
as, so let's see. That's 2d6. That should be a total of 19 damage.
And that
no,
rat
wait.
will die.
Sorry, 15. I
That
already
rat
had
will
it.
still die. Yeah, so it just like impales on your sword, and you like take a moment to kind of like slide it off the end of your rapier. If you have any more movement, you are welcome to. I think if you have anything that you want to do with your bonus action, you are welcome to. But otherwise, it's going to go on to rats.
I think I'm just gonna move closer to Seraph.
So, gonna have a rat kind of charge forward here and make an attack on Dalton, and then one make an attack on Wesley here, and just doing the. My bad, I'm rolling in real life. So, a 2 and an 8 does a what is that? A 12 hit, Wesley. I feel like you should have higher than that. Plus 4.
Yeah,
And the minimum
that
is
does
probably
hit.
14.
15. I can add +2.
Yeah. So yeah, as like the one kind of like bites forward at you as you're like scraping like the other rat off of your sword, you like just kind of like move out of the way, and that rat just kind of like bites past you. The one that goes for you, Dalton, does like next to nothing to actually get forward. It like bites into like some of the trash on the ground as it's like leaping towards your ankles. And that's going to take it back to the top at Seraph and Dalton. Do you two have any thoughts how you are going to approach these 3 remaining rats?
So Dalton is kind of as he's kind of like evading the clumsy bite attack from this one rat, is kind of gonna like wave his torch, kind of almost like a trying to like keep some distance, is like coming to you, Seraph, as he is gonna essentially try to kind of circle around to get here, to focus on the rat between them.
As you like come up and we kind of lock eyes, you'll like my spell kind of like fizzled out last time. I'm just gonna say they're too juicy even for the holy fire, and then I'm just gonna try to smack the one in front of me with my mace.
And kind of at the same time, Dalton is stabbing out at it with his rapier.
All right, so 23 to hit for sure, and then it's 5 total from me.
And mine will be 16 to hit for 5 damage.
All right, so each of those are going to survive. Did you guys attack the same rat or 2 different rats?
Yeah, the same rat. I think.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Gotcha. Are you going for, what is it, like rat 3? No, rat 5 there? The like light blue?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, did you guys hit that like super hard? Like your hit was like really well, But remember, I'll give you guys like flanking when you do that. So normally that was a +2 to hit that as well. My bad. If you guys didn't have that, but yeah, between the two of you, you guys will like swarm that rat and kill that one as you stab into it.
In glorious harmony, we purge. And then I'll just like move up on that. Oh, I guess I'm already on one.
And then after the two of you go, you guys are going to hear from behind you as there's like grinding stonework from that hall you've just come through, and you hear just, and then some sort of like cackling, kind of like mysterious, language that you don't quite understand. Dalton's fought rat folk before. Theoretically, you guys have like a sense for what like this kind of rattling common amalgamation sounds like. And you can kind of assume at this point that there are some sort of rattlings, like rat humans, coming from behind you at this point. Old Wesley, what would you like to do?
Oh, Wesley, after dodging the attack from the rat, just gonna lunge back in and see if we can skewer it. For a total of 17 to hit.
17 is a solid hit.
For a total of 13 damage.
That rat as well will skewer onto your rapier. And then fucking old rat here is gonna go for.
Excuse me, can I just gonna ask. I have daggers. Can I use my bonus action to throw a dagger at the remaining rats?
Is a rapier a light weapon?
No, it's just a finesse.
Malchin can do it because of the feat that you have. But you need to use 2 light weapons in order to be able to bonus action throw a light weapon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which one? I think it's going for old Wesley. And Dalton. One of these rats is like basically running away from you as it runs towards Wesley. You have a chance to strike it down. Make that attack, please, sir. If you would like to react.
Yeah, Dalton will definitely kind of go for the stab. That should be a 17 to hit for 10 damage.
So as that rat like leaps through the air, you use a rapier as well, right?
Yes, yep.
Like teeth are like opened up to like bite down on Wesley's arm as he's like pulling this other rat like off of his rapier, and like just out of the air you like skewer it and just kind of like bring it down into the stonework as you see creatures are emerging from the stone wall that you guys have passed like up and to the north, and one of these creatures is going to kind of step out and make a crossbow attack at you. It's going to shoot for Wesley. With 8 to hit, it like plings off of the stone wall, kind of like just north of Wesley as it hits that corner, and just kind of like plinks into this room. You guys can see like where this creature is coming from up there, and it's gonna go to Seraph and Dalton to react.
Looks like we're not done yet. Dalton is kind of, as he's turning, he is I'll cut it down to size. He's kind of moving back towards this thing, and he's opening his mouth to unleash an insult as the thing, as it kind of misses Wesley fairly badly. he'll he's gonna kind of like shout out, "You couldn't hit the broadside of an Outfug's ass, though you might smell like one." And essentially, he's casting vicious mockery at this ratling here.
Big ol' 3 without modifiers. It's 100% going to fail, as it will gain disadvantage.
And take a
What is your roll?
whopping 1 damage. But yes, it will have disadvantage.
And I'll just sort of like run up next to you as you're doing this and put my shield out in front and just kind of cast some light on him. And I will cast the fire thing. Das Fire. Nope, that's not.
11, and it's got a 12 total with the dexterity save, so that should hit. Right? Sacred Flame is what you're saying?
Yeah, Sacred Flame, that's the one. Yep, and it's 14 is the save, so.
Yep, he failed with a 12.
And I'll just yell out, "Be cleansed with holy fire and all the power of the gods." And he takes 1 damage.
Both of you rolled 1 damage.
Well, mine was a D4, so I can't do all that much damage with that thing anyway.
Wesley is 17, so yeah, Wesley, you're gonna go next.
Yeah, he's just gonna turn around and just go, "Shooting an old man, will ya? I'll show you." And just run up to that ratling.
Are you still carrying a light source?
Yeah, I still have the hooded lantern. Let's see. Yeah, I'm attacking it. Oh, I see that.
Yeah, essentially, as you run up to fight it, and you will still attack it, so roll your attacks. But as you roll up to fight it, you can see that there are 3 more of these ratlings like staged at this door, and they're all like flowing out behind it. This is all just because the 3 of you were bunched up in an initiative together.
Yeah, I rolled a 10. 10 total.
10 is not going to be enough to hit this. As you like stab into the creature's flesh, the like hair and just like leathery nature of their skin is just too much to pierce through.
Yes, let's see. I'm gonna use my bonus action to dash to get away from that. And thanks to my fancy footwork, that guy
He
won't
can
get
attack you back.
Yeah, just that guy though.
Gotcha. Yeah, so as you like step away from him, you see as he's like fumbling with this crossbow, like reaching for his sword, doesn't really know what to do. And we're gonna follow up with
Oh yeah, and as he's running away, well, there's a lot more up there than just the one guy.
another one is going to kind of rush out, and with like 2 daggers in hand, is going to cast 1 dagger towards Dalton and 1 dagger towards Seraph there. And nat 1 against Dalton. What is that? A 15? He's got a +3. Yeah, +3, so 15 against Seraph.
No dice.
Got inspired. So yeah, he gained his like 1 dagger just like flies past Dalton and like rings off the wall behind you. Um Actually, you know what? I'm going to do with that nat 1 or with that throw. Oh wait, no, that door. Yeah. He just kind of like plings off of that door, and it like sticks into the door behind you guys. And then as he like throws the other one towards Seraph, you just kind of reflect it off with his shield. Behind him is gonna come. One more. Um, let's see who he doesn't attack from you guys. He won't attack. Oh wait, I can't roll. I gotta decide who's odd from Dalton and Sarah. All right. He's going to attack Dalton and Wesley as he tosses two knives at the two of you here. And 6 against each of you, so 9 total. He's going to miss each of you as he flings these two knives out. And then from the opposite end of the room, you'll see as only one of these rats doesn't actually approach you guys. He's carrying a staff in hand, and as he comes out, his hand starts to glow in like a purple fire, and he's just going to reach back and sling out towards Seraph. Make a dexterity saving throw for me.
17 total.
So as you like move out of the way, this like purple like fire that comes out, it like coalesces into just again sewer water and filth, and it just kind of like flies past and just like decimates the wall kind of behind Wesley and you. um Not the type of thing that you want to get hit by, as this thing like flings the filth of the rat god. And then we're gonna go back to the guy who's got disadvantage from Dalton. He's gonna close in. Who's he gonna attack? He's gonna close in, kind of passing by, going for Wesley, and um, he's gonna attack Wesley at disadvantage here. A 5 for a total of 8. As he kind of like swings out with his sword, he's going to miss. And then he's going to try to bite Wesley with a normal attack for a 14 to hit. I think that's still a miss.
Yeah, that just misses.
So you guys have one of these creatures has closed in and is between all three of you. 2 of them are basically holding daggers, like as they close the distance. Each of them carrying long swords in pretty similar ways as this one that has gotten to you. And at the back of this hallway, one creature that is slinging magic, and it's going to go to Dalton and Seraph. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go ahead and I'll just like yell out at the dude who like flung the stuff at me. If the holy fire will not purge you, then perhaps the weapon will. And you'll see like a apparition pop up next to him, and I'm gonna cast spiritual weapon.
What does your spiritual weapon look like?
It would just be like a super fancy looking like falchion, like a flying sword.
Falchion. Is that like a machete, like kind of shaped? I'm trying to think what falchion is.
Yeah, sort of like a curved blade.
Gotcha. Did you already roll the dice for that?
Oh yeah, on VTT. Sorry, my bad. So it's 16 total to hit.
Solid hit and damage.
5 total.
And if I recall, that's just a bonus action right now. I think you can do a cantrip as well right now. Or actually attack the guy who's on you as well. I think you have your action still.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then I'll just say, or perhaps both, and I'll shoot the fire at him.
I rolled a nat 4. There's no way he's gonna dodge that. So what's the damage from your Sacred Flame?
8 damage.
You rolled an 8?
Yeah, I don't think I add anything to it.
As like the flame like burns down, your sword just kind of like pierces straight through his skull, and that rat's just gonna like collapse down as the flame like burns through the sword, and he burns like from the center outward, and his body is just like a husk of charred flesh. What are you doing with Dalton?
Yeah, so Dalton was like, as he opens his mouth and sees like Seraph kind of just cut that one down with magic and just about to suggest that. As he instead turns, well done, Seraph, and he's just going to turn back to this one that's attacking Wesley, and he is going to step at it with his rapier as he kind of comes back around here. Yes, that should hit 20 to, or yeah, no, that'll definitely hit, but only for 4 damage.
Gotcha. Solid strikes into him. You can see some pretty heavy bleeding across his flesh, as the injuries are clearly like pretty deep wounds. And theoretically, that should take us to Wesley.
Yep, he is also. Oops, sorry. He is also going to drop his torch just kind of on the ground at his feet at this point, so he has a hand free.
And as I see like strike out at him, I'm just gonna say, "You look like you've got him under control. I'll block the door." And I'm gonna like start moving into like the hallway there to like kind of engage them. And obviously, I'll give up an opportunity attack for that.
Okay, gotcha. You're gonna move forward into those two.
Yeah, I think it's
Uh,
more like more tactical, like thinking with the shield and everything. He's gonna kind of like try to head him off.
8 to strike you. He's gonna have an 11 to hit, and just kind of like reflects off of the metal of your armor as you kind of like push forward into the other two with your shield, as they're drawing their swords. Let's go for. Oh yeah, it's still Wesley.
Yeah, so Wesley will like attack the rat. Uh, that that was attack. Let's see. Run nat 1.
You do gain inspiration from it though.
Yeah, and it would have been like nat 1's always miss, right?
Yep, you can't hit with it.
Oh yeah,
You
inspiration.
probably could almost hit this thing with a 2 though.
I think that would have been an 11 to hit with the extra for flanking.
Yeah, so you need a 4 to hit this thing. Anything else from you though after you do fumble? Are you going to do something else? Otherwise, it's going to go to the 2 in front of Seraph.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move away and just call out to Darius. Oh, you seem to have this in hand, and just follow Seraph.
No, excellent. So yeah, as you kind of move forward with Seraph up there, they are going to each like drawing their swords, are going to stab out one at each of you. First one would be towards Seraph with a 13 and then a 9 at Wesley. Each of them are going to kind of like fail with their swords, but using that kind of like opportunity of opening you up for the attack, they are going to try to then like kind of moving forward to bite into again Seraph and then Wesley. Um, 18 against Seraph to hit you.
I'm still at 20.
Gotcha. So, just kind of like biting once again, like into the steel, and you just hear like the little bit of like a crack of like one of its teeth as it like tries to like bite down into the steel. You might see again like a little bit of like a deformation of your actual armor, but like it's just enough where it's just like that's what armor's for, is to take those little things, and that's going to cycle back through to the one that is on Dalton. And I think at this point, it's just going to turn on Dalton and make its 2 attacks. Its sword attack should have an 18. Its bite attack is going to have a 12. So I think the sword only will hit you, Dalton.
Yep, sword will hit, and the bite will miss.
Max damage with the sword, it's going to deal 7 slashing damage as it like brings down this massive like cleaver, like bone knife down into you, and it's gonna kind of like chomp down into you. And as it like leaps forward to kind of like bite at you, like the pain of the wound is enough that it doesn't really like have the same purchase as it goes to bite for you. And then that's going to cycle us back through to it's basically all three of you. Um, at this point, you guys can kind of decide who goes first where, but effectively, Dalton and Sarah.
Yeah, so Dalton kind of like gives out a grunt of pain as the rat thing's kind of sword uh, goes through his armor, and he kind of like um, towards Seraph and Wesley, and he kind of like a little sarcastic, like, "Oh no, of course, I'm fine." But he is basically going to focus on this thing that's stabbing at him and attacking right back with his rapier, trying to hopefully finish it off.
15's a solid hit.
For 4 damage. No, wait, no, sorry. Yep, no, yeah, 4 damage.
That guy is at the tiniest little shred of life at this point. And anything else from you? Otherwise, to Seraph.
Nope, that's all for Dalton.
So I'll like start to cast my sacred flame at the dude right in front of me, and then right before I like let it rip, I'll say, "Look out behind you," and I'm gonna have my sword come up behind him and slash him.
He's got a 13 from his dex roll, so I think he'll take both of those if you can hit with the sword. Looks like the sword's gonna miss there.
Yeah, it's 10 total.
Yep. And then for the sacred flame is going to sink into him full force.
2.
And then from Wesley.
Yeah, I'll stab in at the one just right in front of him. See? For 17 to hit.
A solid hit. And for damage,
A total of 14.
I knew I should have used his inspiration the moment I had a chance. Yeah, that guy's going to die as you impale him on your rapier.
I think that will be it for Wesley. This turn, at least.
Alrighty, so as Wesley kills its friend to the side, that rat's going to attack Wesley, and then the other one is going to try to stab Seraph in the back as it kind of just moves up in there. So we're gonna go first on Wesley, second on Seraph. Seraph was a 6 to hit. Wesley is a 16 this time. I think that's a hit with the sword. And it's going
Oh,
to do 5 slashing.
let's see. Then I'll use my
Okay, you're going to
defensive
defensive
duelist.
duelist?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, you like reflect that one away. And then each of those are going to try to bite at you. So the first one is Wesley. 14 to hit you, Wesley. I think that's a miss. And then an 18 against Seraph is still a miss. And if that's correct, it's going to go to Dalton and Seraph. Oh, wait a second. I had a 20 against Seraph. That should have been your AC,
Yeah, 20 will hit.
because I'm technically flanking you here. So its bite is a D3. A 6, so a total of 4 piercing damage as you get bit from behind. Will you make a Constitution? Tell me what kind of save. It's got to be a Constitution saving throw. Yeah, Constitution
15
saving
total.
throw. You said 15?
Yeah, 15 total.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect you. Are you still holding Shield of Faith though? That's another DC 10 con save. But that one's at advantage.
Nat 20.
Solid. And it's going to go back to Seraph and Dalton here.
So Dalton is going to kind of as this almost not quite dead rat kind of moves to stab out at Sarah from behind it. He'll kind of shout to it, "Don't look now, you're dead." And he will stab out with his rapier at the almost not quite dead rat, hoping to this time finish it off. But that will be only an 11 to hit.
11 is just enough that it kind of like is getting stuck into its fur and its flesh, and you can't like pierce through. That was with flanking,
Oh, in
like
that
with a
case,
+2.
in that case, it would be a 13 to hit.
13 is just enough that it like sticks into the flesh and then it stabs right on through. So you can roll your damage. Actually, that creature has 2 hit points. I think you kill that automatically.
Yeah, and I rolled an 8 on max damage, so it would have been 11.
Yeah. So definitely like a pierce like right through its skull as it's trying to like bite down into Seraphim. You like stab right through its skull, like through the soft part, and you just kind of like pull the rat like off of Seraphim's back, like with your rapier through its skull.
And as it's kind of like dropping, he'll kind of like go and step on it and essentially move up to behind, right, kind of behind, supporting Wesley and Seraph.
I'm gonna like look at the dude right in front of me, and I'll look down like about to cast my spell, and say the cleansing fire appears diminished in this place. And I'm gonna just smack him with my mace as the falchion stabs him again.
What is that to hit? A total of 10 to hit?
So the first one is 14 plus 4, so 18, and the second one is 10 plus 6, 16.
Gotcha. So yeah, both of those will hit him.
So 8 from the mace. And 4 from the spiritual weapon.
Gotcha. So you're like smashing into him with your mace, and as you like smash this rat's like head like downwards and collapse through its skull, your spiritual weapon is like aimed up and through its spine, and you like hit this creature through your falchion and just split it and in 2 pieces, like its body like splits across this spiritual weapon behind you. As the 2 of you kind of like decimate the last of these 2 rats, you're going to hear the door behind you kind of like wiggle, and then there's a smash as the door is going to. No, actually, you're gonna hear the door kind of like wiggle, and you're gonna hear like, "What sort of commotion has brought this disturbance to your high priestess?" And then you're just going to see this smash as this like human kind of like falls through like the shattering door, and you're gonna see like as like the human characteristics of his face are kind of like disappearing, and by the time he like approaches the opposite side of the door, you see as he like looks like a rat that is the size of a human, and he's going to kind of in like two quick little leaps like cross across the room here, and that die on the ground. That's why you got a die box. He's going to charge right up to and attack um Wesley.
Can I attempt to cutting words that?
I feel like cutting words you can wait till one attack actually hits, and then you can cutting words it.
It says you can do so after the roll, but before knowing the result.
Yeah. So right now that was just me rolling to decide who I was going to attack, like who he was going to go for.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, you can definitely watch to see who, or rather, you can watch to see if he gets something that you think is a hit.
okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So makes two attacks, only one of which can be a bite. Okay. Yeah, so he's going to uh okay. When he turns into this massive rat, you see he still has like a sword in his hand. Um despite being like a rat that stands like 5.5, 6 feet tall, this rat is still carrying a sword. So yeah, he like leaps across, goes for Wesley. First attack is going to be an attack with his sword, and then he's going to try to bite into Wesley's shoulder. First attack is well, realistically, I rolled a 10 with each of those. Would you like to cutting words either the sword or the bite before you know his modifier, which would tell you whether they hit or not?
Um, I am going to cutting words the bite.
Gotcha. So I'm pretty sure I've got a +4. I'm pretty sure he fails to sink into Wesley with either of those. Basically, as he crosses over to you, it's just enough that he's kind of deflected across. The cutting words certainly make the bite that much worse as he almost like smashes his face into the wall beside you. And then you guys are going to see the from the other side of the door a human woman steps out through the door, and she is essentially like wearing a breastplate and little to nothing else. There are filthy, what once was kind of like gossamer rags on her. You can see most of her body other than this steel chest plate that pretty much covers like her like center torso. And as she kind of like walks forward, you notice that like she's stepping like above the ground. She's not actually like stepping onto the ground with each footstep, and she is going to cross over the room, and she is going to bring her mace down high onto Seraphim. And she's going for 16, but her modifier is a +4, 20 to hit. Should be a hit, and she's going to deal 8 bludgeoning damage to Seraph.
I'm hanging on by a thread.
Make the Constitution saving throw at advantage for spiritual. I can't think what it's called. The shield.
Oh wait, is spiritual weapon a concentration?
It is not. Just for your shield of faith. No, part of why spiritual weapon is so fucking good is clerics always have bonus actions.
So is it a Constitution saving throw? Is that what it is?
Yep, Constitution saving throw at advantage. You need.
Okay, so I rolled a 15. Is the better
Yeah,
one? What is it? I have to roll double or something?
Well, Warcaster gives you advantage on con saves.
Yeah, but how does the con save work? Is it I have to roll double the damage I took or half the damage I took or something?
Oh yeah, I have to deal 22 damage to you before it's a DC of 11.
Okay, so it's half the damage is the DC. I got you.
Yeah, but it's always a DC 10 until it's that much damage.
Oh, okay, so it's 10 to pass. I got you.
It's like 10 or half the damage, whichever is higher.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that was all before Wesley's turn, so now it's going to go to Wesley.
Oh, Wesley's gonna turn around for this giant rat and try to stab in at him. Let's see. For a total of 15.
That does sink into him as you pierce his flesh.
For a total of 17 damage.
And that sucks ass. That's going to immediately put him into Saint resistances. Let's see. He's going to take 8 damage. Yeah, he'll take 8 damage from that. You notice that despite like piercing through his flesh, the damage doesn't seem to be nearly as effective as it could be. Anything else from Wesley? Otherwise, it's going to go to the Bard and Cleric.
Yeah, I think he's done there.
And you said the woman is wearing a steel breastplate?
Yes, actually, I should say she is dressed very similar to your Cleric, I believe. She's wearing a steel breastplate as well as carrying a shield and a mace.
Gotcha. Yeah, so Dalton is going to kind of turning as she's I guess almost like floating towards and attacking Seraph and oh, you're looking rather hot today, and he is going to cast heat metal on her breastplate.
Dirty whore. That's a dex saving throw. Doesn't
Nope,
even matter. I rolled a 3.
it's actually no save. It says
It's a touch spell, though.
oh,
It's either a spell attack where you're trying to roll to hit me, or it's got to be a save.
so it says so the spell says choose a manufactured metal object that you can see within range, 60 feet. You cause the object to glow red hot. Any creature in physical contact with the object takes 2d8 fire damage when you cast the spell. If the creature is holding or wearing the object and takes a damage from it, they must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or drop the object if they can.
Gotcha.
If it doesn't drop the object, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the start of your next turn. So it would be for 7 fire damage is the 2d8.
Anything else from Dalton? Otherwise, it is on to Jinx. There.
That'll be all for Dalton. If she can attempt to like get rid of the breastplate, it would be a DC 13.
I mean,
Con
I
save.
think breastplates are medium armor. That takes 2 minutes or something to remove.
Okay, and then I can also on subsequent turns I can use a bonus action to essentially deal the damage again. It is concentration though, so I am concentrating on that spell now.
So for me to go ahead then, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna have the spiritual weapon like fly up there and get in the thick of things.
Yeah, it can technically share space with anybody, so you can pretty much put that wherever.
All right, and then
Medium armor, it's a minute to take off.
Okay, that spell is actually better than I thought it was when I that because that's the spell I selected for 3rd level. So
Heat metal is one of those spells that I should give to stuff when people like make a paladin with 21 AC at level 1, but it's also just absolutely cruel. Like for me to do that to a player, it's like banishing somebody only for tier 1. Like, ha ha ha, you don't get to play. My bad, Seraph. What were you doing?
so I'm just gonna do a cure wounds on myself, and then have the knife strike out at Cillian Alchemy Mirror.
Gotcha. Make your attack on her. Is that to the healing or is that the
So 20 to hit her.
20 is enough? That's without flanking, right? That's just with your modifiers?
Yeah, that's just my modifier. And I didn't realize spiritual weapon adds damage. It's actually 5 plus 4, so 9 total damage.
That is going to cut her down as she collapses beneath the falchion. And then how much do you heal yourself for?
So 10. So I was at 2, so I'm at 12 now.
Gotcha. And then it should take us to Wesley. You see as like this rat man before you like screams as he watches Cillian cut down by the falchion, and just has like a horrendous like look of like bloodlust as he stares into you, trying to claw and rake at you with his teeth. What would you like to do, Sir Wesley?
Oh, there you go. Don't worry, you'll join her soon enough, and stabbing this giant rat person. Maybe not soon enough. That's total of 8.
8 is not enough.
Yeah, I guess with that fumble, he just like look a bit sheepish, like, oh, maybe you'll have to wait a bit longer. And I think that's it for Wesley.
Yeah, I think he's going to slash at Wesley again, with his sword. Um, and then he's going to try to bite into Dalton. 18 to hit Wesley, and a roll of 10 to hit you, Dalton. My bad. I should have said that differently. I rolled a 14 to hit Wesley, so you have a pretty solid thought that I do hit him. If you want to cutting words that.
Yeah, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
Versus rolling the 10 to hit you, I'm not sure if you even think that's a risk for you.
Well, yeah, no, I'll cutting words. The attack on West.
Gotcha. So roll that.
So subtract 6.
Dear Lord, your die is a D6 now. Is that what that is?
Oh, whoops! I rolled the wrong die.
That shouldn't be a. Is
I
it's
rolled a
your
D8.
inspiration die?
It's supposed to be a D6, not a D8. I rolled a D8.
Okay, okay.
So subtract 5.
5. Yeah, so it's going to be a 13 to hit him. That will not hit, and then a 14 to hit you, Dalton.
A 14 will hit Dalton.
So biting into you, it is going to deal a D4 plus 2, and I need a con save from you. It's going to do 4 piercing damage. And what's your Constitution? Actually, it's going to be a con save and then a con save to maintain your concentration, but I don't think you need concentrate on heat metal.
Yeah, I can just drop that because I can't transfer it to another person, and I got a 21. Rolled a nat
Solid.
1 on my save.
Oh wait, you rolled a nat 1 on the save?
No, sorry, 21 total. I rolled a nat 20
Gotcha. Okay.
plus 1.
Yeah, so you're not infected as he bites into you. That would have been a really cool one to fail. As he bites into you, he's going to deal that 4 piercing damage, and then it's going to go to Wesley. As this creature that's slashing at you with his sword, what would you like to do?
Wait, it's me again?
Oh, did I do that out of turn? He was supposed to be before you. He's right after them in order. So I might have already gone to you. My bad. Let's go back to the two of them, and next time I'll have him between two of you. Seraph Dalton.
Yeah, so Dalton, even as this thing is kind of biting into him, is going to kind of start to whisper and like right into the rat thing's face, and essentially kind of like the whispers are like kind of a very discordant song, almost like mixed in with like maybe like the screams of Cillian as like the breastplate heated up. He's going to cast Dissonant Whispers on Ernest here. So there's a DC 13 Wisdom save.
I am crushing these saves today. I got a 3.
So it will take 10 psychic damage, and if it has its reaction, must move as far away from me as it can. It doesn't move into obviously dangerous ground. I'm not sure how that works with regard to like opportunity attacks and stuff.
Yeah. It's actually one of the most poorly worded of all of them. Because usually it's pretty clear whether it's his choice or not. I'm gonna say it's the whispers inside of his head, and he's making the choice. At this point, he has. I don't know. Technically, I think he's in combat with all 3 of you, so I'm gonna say all 3 of you can react as he basically starts to flee from you.
I'll do a Sacred Flame.
Yeah, Wesley reacted with 25 to hit.
He's effectively running back through that door to the southwest there.
And Dalton, I guess, is. Oh, do I have my reaction back because it's my turn now, or not till at the?
You should have it. Yep, you get it back on your turn.
Okay, so that should hit with a 21 for 10 damage.
Gotcha. I got a 16 against the Sacred Flame, so that should do nothing. 5 damage from Dalton's 10, And then how much damage did Wesley do?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, do I roll like sneak attack for this, or is it just regular attack?
Um, you had Dalton there. I'd say that's with sneak attack.
Then I did a total of 17 damage.
Gotcha. And Dalton, you did 10 psychic, right?
10 psychic, yep, with dissonant whispers.
Yeah, so he's just going to kind of collapse as he's fleeing the room. Is a little bit more precise. As he kind of like gets away from you, you guys cut him down. And as you basically cut him down, as he steps away, his like flesh slowly turns from like this rat form as his body like kind of like cracks and creaks, and you see as like some of his like misturned legs, like where the joints like crack and they go to an opposite form, and like his knee like starts to like bend the opposite way as it goes back to like a more humanoid form, and like the fur kind of dissipates. And then after about like 10 or so seconds, this before you, instead of this massive like rat like creature, you just see about like a 6 foot tall man with very similarly colored brown hair on his head. Most of the rest of his body is essentially hairless. And he just kind of sits before you like pretty well naked, still carrying like the long sword and like a crossbow that you would have seen kind of like on his like waist, just kind of like slung on a little sling. But you basically watch as this person turns back from a rat into a humanoid form as they die on the floor beneath.
So as he's watching this, Dalton is looking a little worryingly towards his like arm where the thing bit him. He's kind of like going to look to Seraph and Wesley, and kind of a little kind of jokingly, but also kind of a little kind of worried, like, tell me if you see me start growing any whiskers, right?
If you turn into one of those things, we're going to kill you. And I'm gonna like push past him, and I just want to check the vitals on the guy that just died, like kind of hoping that maybe we could get some info out of him if he's still hanging on.
Yeah, with that, was still just
Technically, you guys don't have to kill with the melee attacks to finish somebody. If you don't want to kill the wereman, you don't have to. Like melee attacks can be like to knock them unconscious.
I mean, I don't. That wasn't in Dalton's mind, so his attack would have been just a normal stab.
yeah, and I don't think Wesley would have been in a frame of mind either to just like let a giant rat go.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to by the time you get over to him, he is dead.
Yeah, all right. I'll be like kneel down in front of him, and I'll just let out a sigh. Yeah, I was hoping he was still hanging on, and we could get some information from him. We are on to something, but I don't know how much deeper we'll need to go.
Definitely a solid recognition. Like you guys don't have to like consider it as the meta knowledge, but like when you guys knock somebody unconscious, they're unconscious for at least an hour. Like it's still knocking them to 0 hit points. You could have knocked any of like the first 4 rat men unconscious, who are a lot less of a threat than anything else that you kind of encountered. And you've got an hour until they might wake up. Let alone that combat was probably only about like 40 or so seconds.
So Dalton is going to kind of, as the combat ends, kind of lean down beside the kind of the woman. He'll probably tentatively, kind of, since this is a new spell to him, he's kind of tentatively kind of just reach it to touch the breastplate to make sure it's kind of cooled off enough to touch, and then he wants to kind of take a look at it and see if there's anything distinctive about it, anything that might tell like how this woman came about this item. Um,
Yeah, roll a perception for me. I would say while you're rolling that, as far as like the heat object goes, the breastplate itself is probably almost like a recollection of like working with your father in the smithy. It is hot. It is not hot that it is burning you anymore. But you can tell that moments ago you basically made it supernaturally hot, where it's like almost forgeable. But effectively, like as far as the magic goes, like those hundreds of degrees have dissipated, but it doesn't change the fact that technically that object is still uncomfortably hot. But you could put it on right now. You might end up like sweating, kind of thing. What did you roll for a perception?
Gotcha. 18 total.
So when you're like looking down and kind of like looking over this armor, one thing that you'll notice, like this woman is equipped with like a nice armor and a nice shield. But her mace is actually the object that catches your eye. Where the armor and like the shield have like clearly show signs of damage, the mace is immaculate. It looks like perfect, shiny, fresh steel, as if every single time that it's hit anything, it's had no effect on this object. You can very quickly recognize that that mace is a magical item.
Yeah, so he's going to call over towards Seraph. Wait, want to take a look at this?
But as far as things go, you said you rolled an 18 there. She has gold earrings. You can write those down that they have a 25 gold value. She has 10 gold in coin on her. The breastplate and the shield are useful. They're just not worth their full value. And then she also has a light crossbow. Oh, and I didn't even get to fucking use it. She also has a scroll that is written, I think, between you and Seraph. Let me get a Arcana check from both of you. Um from Dalton and Seraph, please.
11.
And 7 for me.
So I would say that Dalton can't quite read it, as it's written in like kind of this rat script, that's just kind of like obscure to you. But as you look it over, Seraph, you can kind of see like in this horrific script that it's written in, some signs of ritual work that I'm pretty sure off the cusp I can say that you can rock this out. Um, you'll kind of recognize some of this, and you would need a little bit of effort to be able to use this. But you're pretty sure this is a scroll of inflict wounds.
Yes, I know exactly what this is. It's in a different language, but I recognize the pattern. I too possess this spell. Inflict wound.
I was pretty sure I could kill Dalton for using heat metal on her with that. Sadly, she did not survive to get the chance.
Oh, and I'll like have a look at the mace or whatever. But I don't actually have a identify prepared or anything like that. So
Yeah, again, like the immaculate nature of the mace tells you that this thing is special, that it is imbued with magic. What exactly it does, you can't quite tell. That's where identify will come in. But you probably also need a pearl for that as well. But at very least, you have this understanding. Like you can see fresh damage on your mace from, I think, swinging it like twice in that combat. Whereas this thing looks like it was freshly forged.
Definitely appears to be magical in nature. What condition are you in? And I'll like look to the other two. Like, do they look pretty beat up, or how are we looking here?
I mean, if when you look over Wesley, you'll see it doesn't even look touched. Like maybe some dirt have gotten on him, but not much else.
And Dalton still looks. He's taken a couple hits, but he still looks okay. And if I need to, I can take care of myself. But thank you, Seraph.
Of course, it looks like you two fared better than I. I was nearly felled by that single strike, but I'm good for now. I've used quite a few resources, but would you like to proceed, or shall we dig through here, take the tails?
Always money and tails.
Did one of you guys search the werewolf guy or were-rat guy?
You can search him. You can do either a perception or a investigation.
And Dalton's going to suggest when we do head out, we might be able to get something for the armor the woman's wearing. He doesn't at least doesn't feel like lugging it around for now if we're going to go deeper. But if it's something we can bring out with us, he'll suggest that.
I got natural 20 for a 26 total.
26 total. Yeah, on him, he has very little on him. He's got a hand crossbow, and a short sword. But other than that, he doesn't really carry much of anything. He doesn't even have clothing, basically. You can have 20 crossbow bolts if you want that. Basically, yeah, I guess I should give him a quiver for that. So, say he's got a short sword and a sheath, a hand crossbow, and it's got like a side quiver on it, like you see modern crossbows these days, where it's like the quiver is like underneath the crossbow, so you can like pull and load it like with your offhand kind of thing. Dalton, make an intelligence check for me here.
Three.
Gotcha. You are pretty sure when your father has finished breastplates in the past, they are worth multiple hundreds of gold. So as far as things go, for 20 pounds of weight, that thing is definitely something that you guys want to leave this place for, even if you don't get even like half its value. It's at least like 100 gold. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of gold in that thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But it is 20 pounds. Normally in the meta level, they're worth 400 gold.
Okay. So maybe if we're gonna keep exploring, maybe Dalton will suggest taking a few minutes to just in case, like if somebody else comes in or he doesn't know how much traffic's in here, but essentially try to conceal it under some of like the piles of filth that are in here, and then on our way back out, we grab it, so we're not carrying around all the extra weight for now. At least unless Wesley or Seraph wants to lug it, but Dalton is not the. You can see he even looks like maybe still a little kind of undernourished or thin from his time in captivity. He hasn't fully recovered yet, and he's not a very strong big guy to begin with. In contrast to his father Davros. But he will, if neither of Wesley or Seraph is interested in the hand crossbow, he would take that.
Of course, if you'll put it to good use, I've no objection. can sort out the mace and armor, all that when we get back. But for now, I think we should at least bring this with us. And I'll like hold out. What was it? A hammer?
Mace.
Okay, it was a mace. Okay, yeah. So, so I definitely think we should take that. I'm cool with you taking the crossbow, hand crossbow, and bolts and everything. We can grab the armor on the way out. Doesn't really matter. Or like thematically, I think we could probably carry it.
Yeah, Wesley will go. I can carry the armor, but if needs be, I'll just throw it on the ground and run away.
With the idea that Wesley is thinking about carrying it, consider the fact that like you guys probably have rations on you that are not nearly as gold dense. And you probably have 20 to 30 pounds in rations and like torches on you.
I think he will like throw out his rations at that and just like, put that in instead. No torches though.
Yeah, and then can we take the tails too? Because we know there were some gold.
Yep, you guys got 9 rat tails, I think, in this room that you can collect.
So Dalton's going to suggest we just maybe make sure there's no more things waiting behind us in that room that the these rat things came out of before we continue on further in.
Gotcha. So you're just looking to basically step back towards that room, kind of look through it. You can make a investigation if you're kind of like feeling around the walls, perception if you just want to look through real quick.
I think Dalton will just do perception at this point. And that'll be a that's a 2, and then so a 4 total.
Looks like a small room with a peephole like on the opposite side of like this sliding door, so guards can kind of watch that hall.
Gotcha, but otherwise looks pretty empty to him.
Looks pretty filthy. Again, this is still
Right.
man. On my screen, I don't have anybody. I'm not sure if you guys can see it because I can see them on my bot screen now that I'm looking for them. There might be the other 2 guys who was trying to drop when I was originally trying to put a 4th guy in that room. I'm just seeing them now, but it's only on my bot screen. So if you see guys in that room, they're not men in that room.
Okay, gotcha. I do see him on my screen, but
Gotcha. Yeah, when I loaded this map, I'm like, what the fuck? I swear I put 4 miniatures in that room yesterday. So I dropped another guy into the room. I'm like, continue on like narrating to you guys. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? He's still not dropping? So I dropped a different guy in the room. But that explains it. That's the first time I looked up at my bot's computer to see that there's 2 guys like still in there.
gotcha. So Dalton will rejoin the others kind of after taking just that quick look peek in, and maybe again almost kind of retching as he kind of sticks his head in, and but then we'll gesture towards the door that the were rat thing had gone fleeing towards eventually, and well, onwards and downwards, I suppose.
So the filth continue. My bad. Whoever was thinking about saying something, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. I mean, if you were gonna narrate, that's fine. I was just gonna ask, like the little like Tinkerbell spirit. Does it just like show up randomly? Is it kind of like lingering around, and there's just other shit going around when we don't see it, or like how does that work?
Roll a perception check with advantage. Was that a 20 and a 19?
19 plus 6, so 25 total.
Gotcha. Yeah, you can actually see that the little footsteps from Sister Dyra actually like lead off um, opposite where this door that it seemed the rat goes, and it seems to walk into this wall and disappear. But no, technically the footsteps are there. You no longer have like the little Tinkerbell, but it's just like the footsteps.
Okay, well, when I like notice that, I'll grab their attention. It appears there's another secret way through here. And I'll go over and like have a look for like a kind of like lever or like a seam in the wall or anything.
Yeah, when you go over there and look, trying to find out, like, there's got to be something. Your little like spirit guide from Dyra, from Sister Dyra, is like leading you that way. You can see like in the graffiti, like some of these things have like little like bas relief of like rats, and some of them are like horrific, like fiendish, like rat symbols, like the rat god that you had seen. And just one of these just kind of sticks out a little bit different, where you can kind of see like the actuation point in like the stonework, and you can just kind of like almost shaking its hand, just kind of like actuates this door, and you see is like just like a kind of like shimmer across that wall, kind of like catches your eye, and now when you like touch the wall, there's no resistance to you. So you just kind of like shake this little rat's hand, and then like the wall like no longer resists you as if it were stone. You can't see through it, but you can feel through it.
So like the part where I like it's like a handshake you kind of said?
Yeah, there's like a tiny little rat god, like the statue that you guys saw in the temple, and you can almost like shake this little rat hand, and it like just shimmers the wall a little bit, just like barely enough that you can kind of catch this recognition when you like shake and move this hand. And like you no longer feel like the stone.
Oh, okay. It's like opening up like a but it still looks like there's stone there.
Yeah, as
Um
far as your eye looking into it, there's still a stone wall there.
some sort of illusion. Interesting. And I'll see, can I like walk through it? Like slowly at first, but
Yep. So as you step through the wall, you kind of walk through about like 6 or 8 inches of stone until on the opposite side you kind of come forward, and again your shield starts to like glow light ahead of you. And it's just enough that you can kind of make out that there is a door on kind of the northeastern side of this hall. But otherwise, there's about a 20 or so foot long hallway in front of you.
well, according to our guide, this is the way to go. So I'll like start to walk through.
And you guys just see like when Seraph like goes through the wall, like he's stepping into the wall, and you're just like watching as like his flesh is like almost like split by the wall. Like where the wall starts, his flesh never like pushes into it. There's never like a kind of give to it. There's just the wall, and like his flesh almost like disintegrating as it goes through. But when he kind of like comes back through to say like this is the way, let's follow it. You see as his head like kind of comes back out, and then like goes back through again.
That's a neat trick. But Dalton he'll probably kind of maybe close his eyes as he moves to start walking through the wall after following Seraph.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's about like a 10-foot wide gap, so there's probably no risk of you like accidentally bumping into the wall that isn't uh like basically like meld into stone right now. So you close your eyes, step through. There's a few moments where like your senses feel almost like fuzzy. Because even your hearing while you're inside of stone is going to be a very interesting thing. This isn't an illusion you're stepping through. You're like meld into stone. You are walking through the stone as you go through this. And that alone is going to be a very weird sensation for you all to go through. But eventually you kind of come out on those other, like on the opposite side, again, like 6 or 8 inches. It's just like a half a step or so before you're on the other side and you can see into this hallway.
So I'll keep my light spell up, and I'm gonna kind of just go down the hallway, and I'm gonna just kind of be a little bit apprehensive, just kind of looking as we go down, like ready for anything, because I kind of feel like we got like trapped in that last room there.
Gotcha. Is Wesley kind of hesitant to go through this thing?
Yeah, I mean, he'll see Darius and Seraph go through, but he'll take a minute to himself and just, here it goes. And just step through.
You said you take a minute to yourself. When you go to step into it, you walk like right nose first into the stone.
You just get like, fuck! Start like banging on the wall a bit, like, uh, are you there? I seem to be stuck on the other side.
Can we hear this going on?
Yeah, like he'll take like his moment, like a minute, and you guys might be looking behind you, like waiting for him to kind of come. And by the time like a minute or so comes back from the other side, you hear a pretty muffled, it's not going to be very loud, but a pretty muffled kind of banging. And then with the little bit of your attention that it grabs, you can, again, vaguely and very muffled hear his voice. But you can pretty quickly gather that whatever spell work like allowed you to step through, it's basically worn off. There's no reason for my idea that Wesley wouldn't have seen Seraph kind of like shake that little rat's hand. So in the long run, this doesn't have to be a like barrier for you to get past, but it is definitely like by taking a minute, you find out that this is only a temporary like step through this stone.
Yeah, then he'll just like, after like half moments of panic with not getting through, he'll just repeat what Seraph did and step through.
As
Hope-
soon as he like goes to step through, I'm gonna step back the other way, and then talk to them about how we're trapped if we go through there, and there's nobody to open it back up.
So I was gonna say, when Wesley doesn't follow, Dalton was going to kind of look back on this side of the wall and see if there's any sort of similar iconography or anything on this side
Roll a
that.
perception with advantage for me, Dalton. And Seraphim, are you going like when you hear the knocking?
Oh well, I would like go there and like listen to what he's saying or whatever, and then when he comes to step through, it would like occur to me. I think that if that was like a wall and I was touching it and he couldn't get through, that we were now going to be potentially trapped.
So that'll be a 23 for Dalton
Yeah.
on the.
You'll see a pretty similar, about like 5 foot off the ground, another of these little rat god statues, like the god of filth, and it's just kind of standing there. And same idea, it's got its hands out. You can shake one of those hands to actuate it. So you can kind of see like among the like iconography of these walls, you can kind of spot that there are these tiny little bas relief of that god, and they're almost like door handles.
And kind of, well, at least we're not trapped, Seraph, and makes sense, I suppose. If they're using this to get in and out, they wouldn't want to trap themselves either.
Of course, makes perfect sense. I had a moment. It just occurred to me, but obviously we cannot turn back even if we wanted to. So, shall proceed.
So I think you said Seraph was kind of moving forward, like trepidatious, like you were being a little bit slower, a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Gotcha. So not necessarily going to just like immediately open that door. Um, Wesley's not like your typical rogue because he's really like kind of like the swashbuckler, like the swordsman, almost fighter style of rogue. Um, who do you guys think is your like most observant, like leading person who, when you're trying to be cautious, leads the party? Is it still Seraph because you've got kind of the strongest defenses, or is it somebody else because you guys think they're most observant? What are you guys thinking?
I mean, I'm okay leading if nobody else wants to. I mean, that's perfectly fine with me.
I mean, Delton's more of a charmer than a. He's not particularly. He's not particularly observant. I wouldn't say.
Now, if we're trying to be sneaky, I'm not gonna ever like be that guy. But I don't mind going first.
Yeah, I just mean like, do you actually change how you guys move when you're trying to be more cautious and look out more?
Well, if you want to be quiet, I'm, can be rather light on my feet when I need to be.
More perceptive than silent. I felt like they sprung a trap on us in that last room. It wasn't until we moved past that they broke in behind us. And then once we were distracted that way, they came from below. They're using tactics. They're smart. So yeah, I'll just like slow creep up and just kind of keep an eye out for like any weird like trigger type thing if there was like a trap or something or
Gotcha. So, kind of taking a look over the door, you don't see anything like that grabs your attention when you first kind of look over that door. So, after a few moments, kind of taking the time to open it up, kind of see generally open room ahead of you. Seems to be another like 25 by 25 or so room. It's not until that you kind of like peek out and like look out from the room that you might see that it kind of like extends off and kind of like beyond like the sight of your like light coming from your shield, that like there's like multiple kind of like um outcroppings almost in how the room is shaped, but it seems to lead into the southeast. You can roll a perception here. You don't really hear anything. You don't really see anything other than the stone, and this is just kind of like looking out real quick. Yeah, without
10
further,
total.
you're not gonna spot anything else.
All right, so I'll just let them know that looks clear. Should proceed.
Dalton will nod and after you and follow behind.
So once you move a little bit further, you can kind of see that there's these like three little compartments that are almost like three kind of squares, and there seems to be a hall that kind of leads off to the east of the furthest one, just about where your light's kind of giving way at this point.
Do you want me to take a look ahead?
What do you mean? You have dark vision or something?
Well, no, but I can be quiet.
I'm only like just moving slowly, so we're not like getting ahead. But I'm good for like whatever pace if we're kind of like keeping together. But also, if you wanted to like scout off sneakily, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I mean that's what Dalton's offering. If
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with all that. I was literally just throwing it out there, so we're all on the same page. The only reason I like move slowly is because it's like revealing the map, and I don't want to like just rip through everything faster than J Rod can keep up.
yeah, I mean, well, Dalton has a torch, so he has his own light. If you want him to scout ahead, um, yeah, so he will be trying to move quietly and scouting ahead.
Gotcha. What is your stealth modifier?
Plus 5.
Gotcha.
Well,
So
it'd be
you start.
plus 3 dex, and then if you're using the proficiency die.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha. So as you kind of push forward here, you start to kind of like come around one corner and you can see that there's like a hall that leads off to the east. You can see that there's more space down to the south, and eventually you can spot that there's like almost like a mirror kind of like shape to like a room to the south as it kind of like opens up, and you can see that there is a doorway like to the west from there. But otherwise, you basically have this choice. You can kind of see the door to the southwest of you, or you kind of have the door to the east of you. Or not a door, hall to the east, or the door to the southwest.
So Dalton might try and just kind of listen to see if he hears anything coming from either direction before he um, kind of gestures for the others to kind of join him. And
Gotcha. Are you favoring a direction, or do you just want to roll a perception check like at both?
he's probably more listening down, trying to listen down the hallway to his right.
Gotcha. Let me see a perception from that.
All right, so that'll be 16.
So as you like listen down this hallway, you gain a solid kind of like sense of like you feel a general kind of like silence about this area, and there's more of kind of like an organic kind of what you would expect out of some of these like underground halls beneath Tolis. Uh this is like where you feel like you can kind of sense like the drips of water, the sounds of like creaks and things like almost like the moaning of the stone from movement overhead. There's a little bit more to be heard. There's nothing that's telling you there's like somebody walking towards you right now. But there's also just like a little bit more life to the east.
Gotcha. So Dalton thinking we're here to try and find rescue some people. So um, he's going to suggest kind of gesture towards the others to kind of rejoin him and kind of gesture down the hall to the east. And if I had to pick, I'd say we try this way.
Can I just do a check to see if I see the like footsteps?
Yep, roll a perception at advantage.
15 total.
You do indeed see the footsteps lead off to the east.
I think you're on to something, my friend. The ghost confirms.
So Delton is going to continue on. At this point, he has the rather than his rapier, he's going to have the hand crossbow out. Is that something that can be kind of essentially preloaded with one bolt?
Yeah, it's reloading with a crossbow that you kind of need. I don't even know if it requires you have your second hand, but that's what the reloading feature requires. I have a feeling you can reload that one-handed, like with a torch in your other hand, kind of thing.
Okay. But yeah, so he's got that out, the torch out, and is going to start still trying to move quietly. Not necessarily scouting, not necessarily telling the others to wait behind, but just for him, trying to move quietly as he starts down the hall.
Gotcha. You're leading the group then, and then we've got Seraph behind, or are we going Wesley behind?
I think Wesley will follow a bit behind, like, trying to sneak as best as he can as well.
And then Seraph at the tail end. As they get a little bit quieter and start to kind of like sneak away, are you kind of like letting them have a little bit of distance, or are you gonna keep close to them with Seraph?
And I'll just kind of keep my eye on our backside, make sure it doesn't feel like we're being set up.
How close are you following them as they get a little bit quieter and start to like sneak ahead? Are you giving them some distance?
Yeah, I'm gonna give them a little distance just because I'm like fully armored in like big, heavy, loud metal. So they're not gonna be sneaky if I'm like right on them. So maybe like, I don't know, 20 or 30 feet.
Gotcha. What modifier do you have with Wesley for stealthing? And do you have
I have
expertise?
no, just regular proficiency and +4 dexterity.
Gotcha. So it's a +3 for Dalton plus your proficiency die, and then a +4 for Wesley plus proficiency die. And then what's your dexterity with Seraph? And do you have
Dex is
proficiency?
12, +1 modifier.
Gotcha. All right. So as you guys move forward in this hallway, it's a pretty tight, about 5 or so foot wide hallway. This is where after probably about like 30 or so feet, you kind of leave behind you like an actual like stone worked like hall, and you start to get into it feels a lot more like natural, just like stone carved cave. And as you guys like continue on and on, it's gonna be about like 20 or 30 minutes of kind of like moving around where you take little turns here and there, and after a little bit you're really not going to have a sense for what direction is which way anymore. And eventually you're going to come back to a point where there are like actual like flagstones again, and you get back onto like a smooth carved like stone floor, and you start to notice that the walls very quickly afterwards kind of are smoothed out like worked stone walls again. And after a moment, you kind of like, this is where, again, that like sensation of you feel like you can hear kind of like the drip of water. Maybe that's just like the flow of water and it's like deep in the rock. But you kind of like feel a little bit more of like the life of the city and kind of like the water that kind of like exists underneath the city. close at hand, you see here and there some of the signs of like kind of moisture was coming through like the actual stonework of the walls and whatnot. But otherwise, you guys kind of continue on this path for about like that 30 or so minutes before you come back to a little bit more finished hallways. And you're in probably about like again like 7 or 8 foot tall, about 4 to 5 foot wide halls that kind of like continue forward. And actually, I think this is a solid time to take a break, and we can pick up here in a few moments.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Be, back in a few. I'm back.
What's going on, guys? I'm good whenever.
Yep, I'm good to go as well.
Yeah, hello, I'm back.
Sarah, you did take the mace, right?
Man, I was like a little unsure at that beginning of that combat, like how much it was going to escalate. I'm like, oh, how many spells should I use? Is it one? Do I need to use a few?
Yeah. For the as soon as Mara said she was wearing like the breastplate, I was like, I picked the right spell.
Oh, the heat metal?
Yeah. But I hadn't actually looked at the like spell description. I didn't even notice it was like there's no save or anything. It's just the object heats up and because at first I was thinking, I would use it on before she appeared, I would use it on Ernest and try to get him to drop his weapon. But then I figured, well, yeah, breastplate will probably be a better idea.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's situational, but very strong when it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like obviously against those giant rats, it would have been worthless.
Yeah, but I mean, typically when you get up to like a more of like a boss type battle, they're more likely to be wearing or carrying like, a metal weapon. So I feel like that's pretty good. I mean, most stuff is going to be wearing metal armor unless it's like, rogue aspect.
Yeah, I mean, worst case, I could essentially like if something didn't have any metal, I could try to essentially stab it with my dagger, leave the dagger like embedded in it, and then next time try to heat that dagger. And then at one point, I thought I was gonna, with all like the rat things coming, I thought maybe I would have to use Thunderwave, but I knew that I was trying to hold off on that because that's a super loud spell, and Chris knows how badly that could end up from our time in Phandalin.
Yeah, that's a tough one because it has so many like unintended consequences because of the noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird playing a cleric because you get like all the spells and then you just pick what you want to use. Like I wouldn't want to be like new to the game and playing as a cleric because it would just be completely overwhelming.
Yeah. Same. I found the same thing with like wizards, because there's so many options to pick from. They have like the biggest spell list.
Yeah, but with a wizard, don't you still have to like pick your spells like when you level up and everything and you like put them in your spell book?
Yeah, I mean theoretically you could, if you found or bought spells, you could have like a huge amount, but then yeah, you prepare a certain number of them every day.
Right, right. Like with the cleric though, it just gives you like all the spells that are available and then you just pick what you're going to use. It's nuts.
Yeah, never. I don't think I've ever actually played a cleric. I've been meaning to. So maybe my next character will be a cleric.
Like, just for instance, I know right now 28 spells.
Oh, geez, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, like for level 3, like that's an insane amount of stuff. Now, one really cool thing I like about the clerics though is certain spells are like attached to your kind of like subclass or whatever it's called. So that really helps because if you pick a healing cleric, it's gonna give you like healing spells.
Right, and essentially you always have those prepared on top of whatever number you can select each day, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah, exactly. So you can't like pleb it up and be like, "Oh no, I forgot to prepare healing today." It's like, "No, we got you. Like here's bless, here's some healing, like all the basic stuff's done for you and then you can just mess around with the other stuff." It's pretty cool. I like it. I just think like, for a level 3 character, if you were playing like a barbarian or a fighter or something, you just have so much less to worry about.
Yeah, those are definitely good kind of intro classes. Rogue too. I mean, you know, you're a little more of like a skill person, but aside from essentially sneak attack, you don't have like any abilities you have to keep track of.
Yeah, I haven't really played a rogue much. I think they're really good and I think they're cool as hell. I've just never really played one.
Oh, I mean, at level 3 here as rogue, I do have like the sneak attack, we have the cunning action, we have rakish audacity.
Yeah,
So
they have some awesome stuff. I really like that you can do a bunch of cool shit with your bonus action. Like that's huge for me because I'm all about the bonus action.
and here I am barely using my bonus action, my cunning action.
Well, because like as a swashbuckler, right, you don't really have to like disengage. That's what I typically use mine for. But
Yeah, they basically have the disengage in when it's just one-on-one. But if there's anything else there, because it's only the creature you hit that can't do opportunity attacks.
okay, is it only if you hit them, or you just have to attack them?
Oh, yeah, just attack them. You don't have to actually hit them.
Oh wait, is that a swashbuckler ability?
Yeah, fancy footwork. I think there's like a feat as well, like mobile feat that does the same
Oh,
thing, a bit better.
okay, yeah, fancy footwork. You said that earlier. Okay, that's cool as hell, man. I really like that a lot. Because one thing I really like about them is that you can, like Justin was saying, you get to use your bonus action to like disengage or like what? Can you do dodge or dash?
Dash, yes. Dodge, no.
Yeah, I think
Dodge is
cunning
marks.
action. Yeah, cunning action is just dash, disengage, and or hide action.
Hide, that's the other one. Yeah, those are all really good though. I like that. Obviously, it's a little less applicable if you're like the rogue who wants to be in melee, but
I mean, technically,
Wow.
you could like attack someone, run away, hide, and then just like run a little bit farther.
Yeah, there wasn't much room for you to hide in that place unless you're like crawling around in the filth, going prone and getting up.
well, no, I really like the swashbuckler because one of the issues I have with rogues sometimes is that they're always trying to do like sneaky stuff, and then it like sometimes like puts too much pressure on the other party members or too much pressure on them, as opposed to kind of all being like in a unit. I don't know, it's weird.
Swashbuckler's awesome because they give themselves the chance to use sneak attack. They just get to use sneak attack so much more often.
Yeah, but it's only like if it's a one-on-one situation. Like if I have a creature and just me, like together, then I can sneak attack. But if there's another creature and 5 feet next to me, I can't use that. So then I have to go like regular sneak attack.
Well, yeah, but you can still use it if like one of your allies is next to them. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
still
unless
get
you're
if you're
that.
2-on-1, you probably used fancy footwork to get away.
Yeah.
or at very least, take the disengage action and leave that combat. But that's the thing, is the swashbuckler is the fighter version of a rogue, and they do it quite well.
So, last question. If you use fancy footwork and you're like, oh wait, rogues don't get a second attack at level 5. Let's say you use fancy footwork and you had like one weapon in each hand with like the double attack or whatever. Could you attack somebody, leave the combat, and then like go somewhere else and attack someone else still?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that a lot. Or what if you were in
And the way
combat
it's worded, you could step away from that creature as well.
if you were in combat with 2 bad guys and you like attack one then attack the other, then disengage without them being able to hit you?
Yep, as long as you attack, you can step away and they cannot take the opportunity attack.
Oh yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, I like that. That sounds awesome.
During your turn, if you make a melee attack against a creature, that creature can't make opportunity attacks against you for the rest of your turn.
But if there's a third creature, then you're screwed.
But even then, I mean, that's one of those things where bonus action, you disengage, leave that combat, and then you still have your attack action. They're a super, super slippery rogue. So if you guys are all set here, we can jump back into this. You guys are kind of like coming back up on kind of like the halls where it gets a little bit more proper. And as you're kind of like squeezing through one of these tight spots, Dalton, you're going to kind of round a corner, and pretty much directly in front of you, as you kind of round this corner, you're going to spot like an undead creature that's just kind of like standing in the center of the. Um, it's not showing up on my bot's computer. Can you guys see that creature right in front of you, Dalton?
I see it. Yep.
When I
Yeah,
loaded the page, it wasn't showing up, and now it doesn't seem to be showing up on my bot's computer. I don't know why Owlbear doesn't like my tokens today. But this is where I'm gonna have you guys roll for initiative.
Be a 17 for me.
Yeah, same for Wesley.
I have 4.
What did Wesley and Dalton have there?
17 each, actually.
I can beat you if I roll in that 20. So what would you like to do as you see this zombie?
I think Dalton's immediate reaction is going to be he was kind of he was like mentally prepared for more rat things, so he's kind of a little taken aback by suddenly seeing this undead thing in front of him. So I think he is just going to instinctively let loose with his hand crossbow at the creature as he kind of turns a corner and comes to face with it. Be a 12 to hit.
12 is a solid hit.
For 5 damage. Oh, sorry, I should say. I'm assuming. I guess would he be at disadvantage at this point, or is he not quite like within 5 feet of it?
You said you release it as soon as you see. You're kind of like squeezed in that corner. It's more that you're in that space at this point. So I'd say you're fine.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
You said you did 5 damage, right?
Yes. Oh, sorry. It would be 8. I forgot the modifier.
Gotcha. Any other movement from you? Otherwise, Wesley's kind of blocked off at this point. You guys are going to quickly find that you are locked in this hallway. And it's just a question of like squeezing by each other if you're trying to rearrange things.
Yeah, I think Dalton essentially kind of like he's like back up against the wall here as he releases the bolt, and
And I think Wesley sees that he's gonna like try to squeeze past after that bolt comes flying. 24 to hit from Wesley. If I can get past.
20 something, solid hit. Are you carrying a light source with Wesley?
Yeah, I still have the hooded lantern.
As you round that corner to stab into the zombie in front of you, you can first off roll damage, and you are just going to see the stone hall in front of you is just packed with corpses standing shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, that's not good. I do a total of 20 damage.
That zombie is going to collapse before you. Oh, wait a second, you said 20?
Yeah, a total of 20 damage.
That's 1 hit point. Seraph, you rolled a 4. So, alright. So, this zombie is going to just kind of like crunching past Wesley, is going to move in and it's going to attack Dalton. And you'll get an opportunity attack as it moves past you. And then the zombie behind it is going to file in and it is going to try to attack Wesley behind. So, first one against Dalton. And Wesley, you can make an attack if you would like.
Yeah, that's a natural one.
I don't think you use your inspiration, but you can give inspiration to somebody else.
Yeah, I think I'll give inspiration to. Yeah, I'll give it to Dalton.
Gotcha. So I should 17 to hit Dalton. I think that's or I guess I rolled a 14. With cutting words, I need to be a little bit more prepared. Oh, wait, this is on you though. So I think you need to be a higher level to use the one that helps you.
I think bardic inspiration I can only use on other.
But cutting words doesn't limit you from yourself right away.
Yeah, it just says as a reaction when a creature you can see within 60 feet makes an attack roll, ability check, or damage roll. It doesn't say
Gotcha.
on somebody else.
Yeah, creature you can see within 60 feet. So any interest in cutting words that zombie striking out at you?
I think I am going to hold off. I've already used it twice, so.
Gotcha. So I've got a 17 to hit you. I think that hits. And
Yep.
then another one is probably going to hit Wesley. Any interest in cutting words that?
I think again, I'm gonna hold off.
Gotcha. 18 to hit Wesley. I think that one should hit as well.
Yeah, that hits.
All right, Scott, 2 bludgeoning damage against Dalton, and then 5 bludgeoning damage against Wesley. As these 2 zombies smash into you. Did you attack the one that left you in combat, Wesley?
Yeah, that's the one I got a natural one.
Oh, you said nat 1. I got you. All right, let me see. 2, 3 of these don't act before Seraph. So which ones? I should just go down the list. Green and purple. Gonna move forward. And then yellow. Alright. And then it should go to Seraph. So you've got one who's like kind of like crawling over the other 2 of your friends and is now between you and Dalton, who's kind of like squeezed into that corner of the rock. And then you can basically hear as like more of these creatures are just like moaning and groaning in the halls in front of you. How would Seraph like to react?
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll do Sacred Flame on the one right in front of me.
I rolled a 19. I think it's a -2 dex. It should still pass. 17.
Yeah, I'm 14. Yeah, I don't have a bonus action to use here. I think I'm just
So,
gonna like. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
nope, go ahead.
I'm just gonna move forward a little bit and like engage with this guy in front of me. So I'm kind of like in the combat.
So you guys kind of hear like more shuffling and like groaning from down the hall, but otherwise it's going to go back around to Wesley and Seraph, or
I-
Wesley.
can I just like communicate just a little bit too on my
Oh,
turn? I would imagine at this point in time, I see now there's a zombie. I can hear something going on. I can't really see what is going on, like for real, or how bad it is. So I'm just gonna try to like gauge it. Uh, Clearly some undead, but how bad are things looking? And then that'll be it for my turn.
that should bring us back around to like again. There's more movement and whatnot from the hall, like where you can kind of hear noise. But I don't think anything can like cross over essentially the difficult terrain that is like a clogged up like hall of bodies. But it's going to come back around to Dalton and Wesley. What would the two of you like to do?
Yeah, so Dalton, in response to Seraph, is like, no shortage of things, that's for sure. You got any tricks up your sleeve? Now's the time. And he is to Wesley. He's going to be hold the line. I'll take this one, the one that's kind of moved past him, and he is going to, with his bonus action, give Wesley bardic inspiration, kind of as he gives a quick sort of kind of few stirring words to kind of bolster him as he kind of holds the line here. So that'll be a D6 Wesley, and otherwise Dalton is stabbing out. He's going to, I should say, dropping his torch at his feet, so that he can draw and stab with his rapier at the zombie between him and Seraph, the one that's crawled kind of past them. Be a 17 to hit for 6 damage.
Solid strike, and for 6 damage against it. As you like stab through like the back of its spine and through its skull, you like expect the thing should fall, and as you're like removing your rapier, it still goes on. Effectively, that creature is at 1 hit point until like the magic that animates it kind of gives way.
Gotcha. Yeah, don't. He's kind of stuck where he is here, so that will be all for Dalton.
Yeah, then Wesley, hearing like the hold the line, he just go, hold the line. Well, what else am I supposed to do? Just mumbling to himself. Give them a hug, and and go to attack the zombie in front of him. And I think I'll use my inspiration on this. Try to fish for a crit. Almost. That's an 18, so that's 22, 26 to hit.
Yeah, pretty much you guys are always going to hit these things. You got to do some severely fucked up shit to miss them. So most of what you're looking for is not rolling a 1, and then just seeing what your damage is.
And then that's a 14 in damage.
Not to incur a whole lot of metagaming, but zombies are armor class 8. So yeah, 14 damage to it. What kind of damage do you do? You do piercing, right?
Yeah, just regular piercing.
Gotcha. So 14 damage. Kind of like pierce through where some vital organs should be. You expect for like some sort of like blood to flow. and there's nothing but like just kind of like gooey rotting matter that kind of like drips out of this thing as you remove your rapier. Effectively it's bloodied, but it doesn't mean it's halfway to death. It's already dead.
Oh, and I meant to say too, that club or mace attack that the zombie hit Dalton with, he kind of would have like kind of spit up some blood, and he is bloodied now as well, Dalton.
Yeah, they're called slam attacks, which I feel like is just a punch. But I think effectively zombies basically just throw their weight into attacks kind of thing. They might slam you into walls. They might actually grab at you to slam you into stuff. Might pull off their own arm and slam it into you. Um, but that should be the two of you. So it should be green, purple, and orange can respond. So I think right now. All right. This zombie is going to attack Seraph, and like it's going to like crawl over him. Effectively it is going to make its attack while crawling over him, but also take to the other side. Opportunity attack to Wesley as well as Dalton if you two would like to try to attack it as it leaves you in combat.
Yep. Dalton will attack it. Should be a 13 to hit for 5 damage.
Solid
Piercing.
hits.
5 damage, 10. It still retains the semblance of life, so it's going to make it across there. So it is 15 to hit Seraph. I think that's a miss.
Yeah, I have 18 now.
And then the green one is attacking Wesley. 19 to hit you, should be a solid hit with a 22, and that's going to deal 5 bludgeoning damage to Wesley.
Yeah, and you
Purple
see
is
him.
out of range.
It's a bit, and
That-
he's blooded.
One more zombie is going to be crawling through and over you. Wesley, you did not. Oh wait, that one's not going to actually leave you. It's going to crawl between, and let's see who it's attacking. It's going to go for. There we go. I think Wesley. And 14 to hit you with a 17 total. I think if you do
Yeah.
your dodge, that still hits, right? Because you have a
Yep,
+2.
that's
Yeah.
yes, hits.
So, that's gonna do 5, 6 bludgeoning.
And that is into mortally wounded for Wesley.
And then it's gonna go to Seraph. You've got zombies on each side of you. You kind of have zombies kind of surrounding everybody at this point. What would you like to do?
So I guess I'm gonna just sort of like turn my back to the guys right now and then smack my mace into that zombie that's behind me, and I'm just gonna yell, "We need to go back the way we came. This is no good. This is no good." So I'll swing at that one. So it'll be 8 total damage.
Gotcha. So 18 to save, 19. It's going to still remain alive.
All right, and then I'm gonna can I move to the other side of it and try to leave behind some space in case they want to like try to come out?
Yeah, effectively with your movement, it'll take you 10. It'll take you 15 to get to the other side. So, you're basically just like difficult terrain over that creature.
All right, yeah. So I just like smack it with my mace and just like push it up against the wall with my shield and like get to the other side of it and try to create a way. Hopefully they'll follow. And I guess I will. So wait, I think you moved me way too far there, didn't you? Because I only have 20 total move.
Oh, you might be encumbered, but like that's one of those things where if you guys don't actually take all of your shit, that's a different thing.
Oh, I don't know. I literally just loaded up this character. Why? What should it be? 25? I thought you said it would take 15 to get by him. That's the only reason I said that.
Yeah, it's 15 to the space on the opposite side of him. But like that's one of the things where I was saying like this campaign we're using the alternate encumbrance where it's like I think 8 pounds per strength instead of 15. But you're also in a city, so you take what you want on a day-to-day basis instead of necessarily carrying everything you own when you're out in the wilderness.
Okay, I got you.
But that's where it's important to have like the extra bags. Like one of your bags you can have like represent like the safe house and you can put stuff in there that is weight that you don't just carry into the adventuring world.
All right, yeah. So I'm just gonna move as far away as I can, and hopefully, we're gonna try to get out of here.
Yeah, so another one is basically like sprinting through, like scrambling over all of the bodies, coming for the flesh ahead, and opportunity attack, I believe, option for Wesley, if you want to attack it as it's kind of like scrambling through and past you all.
Yeah, that's 14 to hit, and let's see, 11 damage.
Gotcha. And then that should take us back around to the top of the order here, where you've got Dalton and Wesley. How do the two of you want to react?
So Dalton seeing Seraph heading back and calling for them to retreat, and he and Wesley are both looking not so hot here. But now zombies have kind of moved past them. So he's gonna kind of looking to Wesley. He's like, "Come years, this is gonna be loud," and he's going to turn back towards the zombies that are now beyond between him and Seraph, and he is going to cast Thunderwave, hoping to push them back, and trying to hopefully make a little bit of space where they can start retreating as well. So it's a 15-foot cube. Hopefully I can hit all three.
I think Thunderwave is from your hand, right? So you like reach out and then it's that 15-foot cube?
Yes. Originating from me, yep.
Yep, sounds right. So dexterity save on that?
That is a con save. DC 13.
It's unfortunate for you. That's what they're actually good at. All right, so I think I got 2 normal zombies and an ash zombie in there. I think those actually all have the same as +3. Yeah. And you said your DC is 14? 775. Not a single one of those has a chance.
13 DC, but yeah, I think they still fail that.
Yeah, 10. Yeah, that's why I say there's no chance because DC 10 is basically like if you have a DC of 10, you shouldn't even be able to be that spellcaster because you don't have the minimum requirements for it. So
So
the
it's
undead fortitude, how much are they taking? How much was the damage?
13 thunder damage each.
All right, so 18. See if that one stays alive. So that one's gonna die. And then yellow ash and the you said 13?
Yes.
So the other one, that's just enough that it would kill it. So it's going to take a con save. Same thing. It's an 18. Rolled a 14, so it's a 17, and it fails. So the blue one, the next one up at the top, is going to just kind of like explode into body parts. And then the ash zombie is yellow. Kind of the same thing. Like maybe like the actual like a concussive like explosive force of that is just like almost like blasting the flesh from it. And then what that actually also moves them 10 feet away from you.
Imagine Sarah might be getting splattered with a bunch of flying zombie bits.
And then that makes noise for 300.
Yeah, desperate times, desperate measures, I thought.
Gotcha. So you basically move back up to that one. And then Wesley, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna disengage the one I'm with, and can I occupy like the same space as Dalton while I attack something?
You can do it while you attack, but you cannot end your turn there.
Yeah, okay, then I'm gonna hope that this works. Yeah, disengage. Just like stand at where Dalton is and attack the zombie that he is knocked away a bit. Or let's see, 60, 19, yeah, 24, 23 to hit for 5, 10, 14 damage. Piercing.
14 going to be DC 19. I need a 16 or better. I rolled a 16. You're going to basically stab into that thing, and it is just hanging on with life. Effectively, this is the same thing. This is a creature that has effectively 1 hit point left, and only magic is keeping it alive.
Yeah, and then it's difficult terrain to get past that zombie. So yeah, I'm gonna have to stay where I am, basically, behind Dalton.
You've got a bonus action, don't you?
Yeah, but I
Oh,
used
you
bonus action
disengage with it.
disengaged. So yeah, I'm not getting past. Wait, am I counting wrong? 5, 10, 15. Oh, technically, that would be 25 to get through then, like standing where the dead zombie is, right? It's-
Yeah, I think it's 40 to the dead zombie.
Uh, yeah, I'm staying where I am.
All right, so one zombie kind of moving forward. 5, 6, 7. Yeah. And it's gonna go for Wexby with a 18 to hit. Should be a hit.
Yep.
6 damage. I think that's gonna drop Wesley.
Yep.
And then another and that's gonna go back around to Seraph. Still got one between you. You can still see more kind of cycling through. And you watch as they're kind of pulling back one of them as they kind of like fill into the hallway, and it smashes into Wesley.
And I see him go down. Or is he not down?
Yeah. No, he's down.
He is down. Okay. And between me and the two of them, there's only one zombie that's still on its feet.
It's correct. Those are just kind of like pieces that have fallen as they like exploded with the thunder wave.
Where does it say like touch or okay, cure wounds is touch. All right, so I guess seeing him go down, I'm just gonna come running back forward, and I'm just gonna yell out, "We're in over our heads. We need to get out of here!" And I'm gonna attack the zombie right in front of me, try to smash him with my mace. As I cast what's it called? Cure wounds.
Healing word.
Oh yeah, healing word. To pick him back up. So I'm gonna just come like barreling down the hallway and just like shield smash this guy and try to hit him with my mace and like clear a path for him to get on the other side of me. So 15 to hit. Or wait, no, 13.
Damage.
13. 5 total.
6 for a 9. It is not going to resist. It's going to crumble into ash and just kind of explode into like this hot ash that kind of fills that room. Dalton and Seraph, will you make a Constitution saving throw for me?
I might use my inspiration for this one.
Gotcha. You can do advantage ahead of time with inspiration, or you can add a d6 after you roll. That's what I'm going forward with inspiration here.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I already rolled 2, so I'll just go with advantage. But that's still only going to be a 13.
And Seraph?
18 on the contract. And then, oh, go ahead.
Nope, you're good. As the two of you kind of like breathe in some of this ash, makes you want to cough a little bit. You're not going to really understand like what that could have been. Both of you will save whatever that was for. What were you thinking though, with Seraph? Did you roll the healing?
It's 2 plus 7, so 9 total heal.
Does 9 take you over half? I guess that's somewhat still mortally wounded, though.
I mean, it's not over half either, so it's still under half.
After Seraph, I kind of already moved the other zombies up. They're still kind of like clogged into that hall. It's gonna go to Dalton and Wesley.
And is Wesley, I guess, technically down on the ground at this point?
He is prone, and technically, I think you had your rapier and your lantern in hand, so both of those you've dropped as well. So you're kind of half movement to stand up, and you're picking those up, so you don't have free actions at all.
I was thinking Dalton. Originally, I was going to essentially try to drag him out after me. But if I see he's come to consciousness from Seraph's spell, Dalton might just kind of like yell, "Come on, old man, you're not dying today." And he is going to back up, and he is going to try to kind of aiming over Wesley as he's down, trying to with his hand crossbow fire into the zombie kind of right below him in the tunnel.
Gotcha. It'll have a little bit of cover as you're shooting past, but you can make that shot.
So that is going to be a 9 to hit.
Indeed. I'm going to say that actually will ricochet off the stone.
Yeah, he was trying to be careful. He didn't want to hit Wesley, so makes sense. And I'm going to mark that off because obviously he's not going back in there to fetch his bolts. But otherwise, he is continuing to move. It's 20. I think he can basically get about there. That will be all for Dalton.
Yeah, and then Wesley will stand up, pick up his things, and take a stab at the zombie right in front of him. So let's see. Yeah, that would be 14, 18 to hit for 3, 9, 16, 20 damage.
That'd be a 25. I'm going to see if it nat 20s. 7. So it will collapse and die as you stab through it with your rapier. When you step away, though, there's going to be another zombie that is going to strike out at you. Or I guess realistically, are you stepping away?
I am, but I am going to disengage with my bonus action.
Gotcha.
Let's see, I can get 15 feet, right? Because it's half to get up.
Yep, you can basically make it to Seraph. Zombie's gonna move up and strike out at Wesley here. 15 to hit with an 18 total. It's going to deal 6 damage to you again, bringing you down to 3.
Yep.
And then blue 5, 6. You'll see is basically the tunnel behind you guys. Once again, clogs back up, and it's gonna go to. Oh wait, I skipped over Seraph there. Technically after the first blue one. So, Seraph, you kind of have this view of the hall of one zombie like close back in and slash uh at Wesley, and one kind of like pushing through the like tight part in the cave. What would you like to do? Are you there, Seraph?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I can do because we're still kind of like boxed in.
Seraph's a cleric, right?
Yeah.
Have you used Channel Divinity already? Sorry.
No, I haven't used it yet.
Because I think don't all clerics get
Turn undead.
yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't that just literally make them just run away?
Isn't that what we want at this point? So we can escape?
Versus, I think your other ability is to heal each of them back up to half. Up to half. And I think that could be a pretty solid heal as well.
Is it like if you move somebody, how does that work? Well, I guess it doesn't matter because there's so much difficult ground.
Are you talking about like opportunity attacks?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking if we could switch places or if I could like pull him and move, but then I'm blocked in anyway, so I would be like trying to drag somebody through a square that was already occupied.
You could like move up onto Wesley, attack, and then either like take that space if you killed the creature, or move back to your space, and that's 15 movement. If you
Yeah, I
want
mean that
to,
doesn't really help me. Yeah, that doesn't really help me. I'm trying to get. I mean, we're all in pretty rough shape, so
then turn undead is not a bad choice because it gives you certainly a way where effectively undead tends to just run the fuck away once you turn it. It has to get out of sight of you though. But that's usually enough that like when you're trying to run from undead, it doesn't really stand much of a chance.
yeah, but it's not even a sure thing. Like it's like they test on it, so it's like if I do that and then we just end up in the same spot and I don't have the healing capabilities of it.
I mean, I'd say put it to a dice roll and make the decision. Otherwise, you have to just, you've got to make a choice though, like whether you want to, continue with the idea that Seraph is trying to get them to flee, or whether you are going to try to turn the tide of this battle, because effectively you guys have turned the tide of this battle. It's just the question of, do you trust the fact that you've done it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. But I have to use a spell pretty much to get an action and a bonus action in the same turn.
100%. On a very meta level, if you were going to spiritual weapon now, it is late in this fight to decide to do a spiritual weapon.
No, that's not what I was thinking.
Pick one. Do something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with what I was thinking because I wasn't thinking to use turn undead, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm just going to do the same thing again. I'll move forward, I'll hit the zombie in front of me with the mace, and then I'm gonna cast healing on him. Oh man, that's not good. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm gonna do. So it's a 18 to hit.
Solid hit. And for damage?
So it's 8 damage.
Oh, this is bludgeoning too. Roll a d20 for me.
The heal is 11 points, and natural 20 on the roll.
And how much damage did you say you did?
It was max 8 damage. And then I'm just gonna say to keep moving back to the guys. Keep moving back. We're slowly wearing them down.
So at your 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, I think you can only get to the other side of Dalton. So when you swing at the zombie and smash into it, you smash right into its skull, and you are going to knock the head off of the zombie and decapitate it. And the zombie's head is going to start with its tongue and its teeth crawling across the floor, and it is trying to bite still at Wesley's feet.
I mean, Wesley would just react like, "Oh, fucking hell. Persistent bastard."
So that's where the other two kind of close in down the hallway, and it's going to return to Wesley and Dalton's turn.
So Dalton is looking to Wesley, and he's not exactly sure. He can't tell if Seraph wants us to fight or to flee. But he's already made one big loud noise, so we're still in. We still got a whole bunch of these things, and so he is going to, if he can, move up, essentially, kind of shoulder to shoulder with Wesley, and he's going to launch another thunder wave down towards the essentially right down into the corridor.
Gotcha.
And this one he is going to do at second level. Yeesh. So it would be it'd be 7 damage.
Dear
Terrible
Lord.
roll. Yeah, 3, 3, 1.
And
Good Lord.
it's on 13. Is your save 13?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, I roll in that one with the zombie that's in 2 pieces, so that's going to take the full 7. And then the next 2 zombies are going to take half damage if they save.
Yep, half damage and no movement.
Yeah, I wonder, does Thunderwave move them backward into other creatures? Yeah, I think we're just gonna kind of shuffle these guys a little bit. I'm just gonna kind of alter it a little bit as you push it some, and the other ones are crawling past. But in the long run, I don't think that spell expects to be stuck in a tiny corridor like this. And then Wesley, what would you like to do?
Oh, I'll do my tried and true tactic and attack the thing in front of me for 23 to hit, and let's
Solid
see,
hit.
4, 8, 12 damage.
We'll leave that creature in a whatever bloodied state a zombie gets into. And you can do any movement if you would like to.
Now, I think with Dalton just behind him, he would stay his ground here.
Seraph, roll a d8 for me.
It's 5.
All right, you see as the headless zombie corpse basically is crawling forward, only it doesn't know where forward is anymore. And it kind of starts to crawl away. The head is still kind of like pushing around on the ground, trying to like gnaw at things. And then one of the zombies is going to crawl over Wesley. You can make an attack of opportunity, but it is basically going to force its way between Dalton and Seraph. But after Wesley, if you make that attack, it's going to go to Seraph.
Let's see. That's 10 to hit
Solid hit.
for, let's see, 4, 12, 16 damage.
And that's going to leave that one bloodied. And it will go to Seraph.
So can I tell a difference when I'm doing Sacred Flame or when I'm hitting them with the mace? Which one seems like more effective or efficient?
I'm not sure that you've actually landed a Sacred Flame on these yet.
Okay, cool. Well, then I'm gonna just Sacred Flame the one right in front of me.
Gotcha.
Let the holy light consume you, devil beast.
Oh, my bad. I need to roll a dexterity. I rolled a 4, so it's definitely going to fail. How much damage are you doing?
20 or no? I'm sorry. That's just 2. It's just 2.
2? Alrighty.
Why don't they get like added on to them?
What do you mean, added?
You know, like your spell bonus or modifier or something. Like if you like smack something with the mace, it gets like your strength bonus or whatever.
Light clerics get it. I know some clerics do, but part of what a life cleric gets their bonus healing stuff for is you don't ever get that.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you give up a little bit of offense. I got you.
But also with the life cleric, I want to say it's at level 6. It's just one of those reminders that while clerics are a jack of all trades, they're not necessarily meant to be the same as like a wizard. But even like wizards tend to have to take elemental adept to gain that kind of damage, at least on cantrips. So I think there it comes to the zombie that is south of Wesley is going to try to attack him. I don't think it can climb over everybody to get past 5, 10, 15. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this where um I don't know, let's roll. Let's put it to the dice. 5 is Wesley anyways. Yeah, so it's gonna continue to attack Wesley. Um, with a I'm crushing Wesley right now with these zombies. An 18 to hit. It's gonna deal another d6 plus 1. 2 bludgeoning damage to you as that zombie in front of you bashes into you. Uh Zombie behind it can't do much of anything, and it's gonna go back to Wesley. What would you like to do? Or Wesley and Dalton rather. What would you like to do?
I think Wesley at least would like to continue to attack the zombie just south of him.
Yeah, and I think Dalton doesn't want to. Yeah, he's still thinking about we want to get away, so he is going to turn and stab at the one between him and Seraph.
So make those attacks. Let me see that damage.
So let's see, that's 12 to hit for Wesley for, let's see, 5, 10, 14 damage.
14, con 19 to 6. Roll a 14, 17 is not enough. That one is going to die.
And then Dalton should deal 7 to the zombie between him and the Seraph.
Piercing, right?
Yes. Yep.
That one will be mortally wounded. We got the normal zombie is dead at this point. And it's gonna go to the purple one, which is just kind of wandering randomly. An 8. It's just not even gonna really move. 7 is the blue. It's the one between Seraph and Dalton. See who it's attacking. 1 is Seraph. It's going to do a 12, 15 as a miss when it swipes at you. Yeah, 15. And then it's going to go to Seraph. Guys are on the verge of pretty much having these things eliminated. Got 2 more active. One of them is severely wounded.
So Sarah feeling like pretty frustrated with his inability to like accomplish anything, is going to reach back for the mace that he found and say a little prayer and try to smack that zombie with it.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if it's actually been long enough for me to be like in tune with it, but at this point in time, I'm willing to try anything. So
I'm cool enough to let that go as a attunement process. You can make an attack with it.
let the light guide my hand. I don't think so. 11. Oh wait, maybe.
Oh, still a hit. And you can roll the damage +1. It is a +1 mace.
All right, so it's 2 plus 1 plus 2, so 5 total.
Roll another d20 for me. Anything else from you other than that?
20 again. And I know when I roll that, it's not a good thing. No, that's it.
Yeah. Once again, you just knock the head off of it. What you're kind of coming to realize with these zombies is you can piece and part these, like some of these things, and they all stay alive. You have to kill all of the zombie to get these to actually die. But yeah, after Seraph, there is the green guy who's gonna close in, and it's gonna go for Seraph. So it's going to see. It's silly to have it run past. I'm just gonna go for attacking Wesley. Sorry, Wesley. Just too scrumptious. 7 to hit you. It's going to miss Wesley as it's like crawling past the corpse of the zombie above it. We're gonna go back to Seraph or Dalton and Wesley. 2 of you make whatever attacks or whatever you would like to. You've got a fresh zombie below you and a severely weakened, decapitated one above you.
Yeah, Dalton is still stabbing at the one between him and Seraph, trying to finish it off.
Yeah, and Wesley is attacking the one who just came up to him.
And of course, that time is nat 1.
You can gain inspiration
Yep.
I got a 19, so that's like
and damage.
let's see, 8, 6. Oh wait, that's completely wrong counting. 8, 10, 14.
So that'll leave that one heavily bloodied. Purple is going to wander kind of backward a little bit, almost like stumbling over its head. The blue zombie is going to attack. It's headless as well, so the 8-4 is it's going to attack towards Dalton. That's essentially like it's just kind of spinning, and its arms are flailing, and like when it like grabs onto you, like touches your flesh, and then you just see as it like actually comes back for a solid swing. 17 will hit you, and it's going to do 3 bludgeoning damage. Um, Technically, you have to be in the space of the head to get bit by it, so I'm not going to say the head's going to make a bite here, but it's going to go to Seraph. What would you like to do?
Oh, so is the one in front of me still standing then?
It is indeed. That one's headless, currently swinging at Dalton, and the head is again on the ground, like kind of like just like moving around with its tongue in its teeth, trying to bite stuff.
All right, I'm just going to try to smash the one without the headless body. I'm going to go for. So wait, so that would be 4 plus 2 plus 1, so 7 total.
7 to hit or 7 damage?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my hit was like 16 plus 6, 22. and then
Gotcha.
7
That
damage.
is enough. That's gonna have a DC 12. I need a 9 or better. It's gonna stay alive with just a single hit point.
Is the mace, the bludgeoning damage, do anything?
No, at this technically you could remove another limb if you roll a d20 for me. But no, effectively, the fact that it's magical doesn't really seem to do anything other than just it's more effective than your other mace.
Okay.
But after Seraph, what is it? One is going to attack. Let's see. Yeah, I really just can't even make it. So it's going to attack Wesley. 9 is a 13 to hit, so that's a miss, and it goes back to Wesley and Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton is kind of like shouting at this point, like, "Why won't this thing die?" But he's still stabbing at the one behind, between him and Seraph, the one
Gotcha.
that just bashed into it.
And then Wesley on the one that's on him. Seraph, is that 11 for the limb that you removed?
Yeah, you told me to roll a d20.
Gotcha. You knock off one of its arms, and its left arm basically falls to the ground. And its arm is like clawing towards you, as it's trying to like move itself across the ground.
So it'll be just 5 piercing damage from Dalton.
And let's see. I rolled a 10 to hit for Wesley.
I got a 15 for its con save, so the one north of you, Dalton, stays alive. What's your damage, Wesley?
It is, let's see, 9, 15, 19.
19, so pretty much, what is that? I need a crit, basically. I need a 20 for it to stay alive. That one's going to die.
Now with that, Wesley just shouting out there, "Don't worry, I've got this."
So after Wesley is the blue one. That's a D8. 4 as it's moving back to the south. And then Seraph. You've got this one in front of you. You smash it with your mace. Try something different. Try using holy magic.
I'm going to yell to them, "I'm glad you've got this because I'm making it worse. There's 3 now." And then I'm going to try to holy flame the one in front of me.
11 minus, so it's definitely not going to save. It has 1 hit point. It cannot save, and it cannot resist radiant damage.
Oh, great. I finally rolled higher than 1. I got a 7. Is it like a vampire?
Is my radiant damage more effective? And I'm like, only at killing them. But it was. So yeah, you basically like burn this one up, and as you like consume the flesh, you watch as like the head and the arm to the sides both like burn as well, and you like. Thank you again for watching us. This has been DM Arethusa for Dice Never Lie. As we get through some of these backlog videos and move closer and closer to the real-time content, I'd like to recommend that everybody like, subscribe, and keep a close eye on the content we're putting forth with this channel. Looking forward to releasing a homebrew campaign that will be starting up here in April. And I hope everybody is ready, and hopefully we can get a solid 6 or 8 people who are set up in the April campaign, opening up a new homebrew world. And as we kind of transition away from pay to play and into a donation based system that gets us closer and closer to hopefully the channel itself being able to support what I can do to create content and create more and more both Dungeons and Dragons as well as other tabletop RPG content. But thank you all very much for keeping an eye on us, taking the time to watch, listen, and subscribe and like with the channel. Thank you very much, and be well. We'll see you next time.